I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up. Good morning, and thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life once again. I am John Greaves III. I'm the co-founder of Garage Gym Life, and on this show, we basically cover fitness-related content from a home gym perspective, and we also get your live reactions to the topics that matter to the home gym community. We interview the people who influence the home gym community, and we hear from you guys about the stuff that matters to you if you are a home gym owner. So if this is your first time checking out the show, I really appreciate you for giving us a shot. Do me a favor and hit the like button. And if you at some point during the show decide that this is something that you want to see more of, please consider subscribing to the show to help us continue to grow the show and the channel. Specifically the show, because although I want the channel to grow, the growth of the show is the primary thing that helps me get the guests onto this platform that you guys want to hear from. So do me a favor. The best way you can help out with that, it's completely free. You hit like, you engage with us, put your comments in the chat, and then you subscribe to the channel. And that I really, really appreciate that. Something else you could do also is share the video. Share this episode that you are watching right now with somebody who you think might enjoy this kind of content. All right. This is a live show that is unlike anything else that you're going to find on, well, to be honest with you, any platform. And I'm about to prove it to you. All right. So here's what's on today's show. In the first hour, which is now, we'll have news and other things. It's basically where I talk about the home gym related news of the day. We talk about sales, we talk about events, all kinds of stuff. Then at 6:45, we'll have the most popular segment of the show, which is Recliner Rage. And that's basically where I just crash out completely about something that has happened in my home gym, usually where I have been betrayed by a piece of gym equipment that I trusted with my safety and my fitness. All right. And that is no exception. Then in the second hour, we're going to be doing something that a little different. We always have a question of the day, but today in the second hour, because of what today is, and I'll tell you what today is, and for those of you who don't know, because of what today is, I want to deep dive on your answers to the question of the day. So I'm going to tell you the question of the day now, so you guys can start putting your answers in the live chat. I've already added the question of the day live chat, so some of you guys have already started answering it. But as you join the show, I want you guys to start chiming in with your answers to the question. So the question of the day is, what motivates you to not quit on your fitness goals? And that's, so basically, I want to get your live reactions to that. All right. And we'll talk about that in the second hour. Then in the third hour at 8 a.m. Eastern, which would be 7 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Mountain Time, Nick Benarakis from Big Benchas. And that was a complete guess as to how to pronounce that, by the way. I'm going to get some confirmation from Nick when he comes on. But Nick from Big Benchas is going to be joining us, and he is going to help us get our bench press right. That's America's favorite lift. He's going to help us get it right for 2026. All right. So before we dive into news and other things, let's go see who the first person in the building was. Let's go. So the first up in the building, as usual, was my guy, Charlie Brown. Carlos, he said, get up with the best show on the web and the best friends. Doesn't get much better than this. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Hey, what's up, my man? For those of you guys who do not know, Carlos is the head content creator over at CBSTCR YouTube channel. If you guys enjoy movie reviews, if you like watching game streams, live game streams, that's actually something that my wife and I do now. On Friday and Saturday nights, we watch Carlos live stream himself playing different games, and it's not always something you can learn from. Sometimes you learn what not to do, but it's always entertaining. He does a good job. All right. Let's see. So I'm looking at some of these. I'm going to go ahead. I see you guys. For those of you who have already started answering the question of the day, I'm just going to star those and come back to it. What's up, the homie Letha? You know what? This might be the first time I've heard from you in 2026, Letha. So happy New Year. She said, good morning from Albertville, Alabama. It's a great day to have a great day, Letha. It is always a good day to have a good day. But we're going to, you one-upped it. You say it's a great day to have a great day. And I cannot get mad at that. I'm 100% on board with that. My guy, Trevor. Trevor is also a podcast host. He is the host of the Disgruntled PM podcast. So if you guys are project managers or you're just in the corporate world, that is a definite must watch / listen for you. Always has some really cool guests on there. And so you guys can check that out, the Disgruntled PM podcast. And Trevor said, it is time to rise and grind. You dang right, man. We got to hit the ground running like antelopes in Africa. All right. Let's see. My guy Carp's Jim is here. He said, yep, that's how you know your show is going to is off to a good start, because the show doesn't start till the FOC arrives, and FOC is Friends of Carp, and all we do is we show up and we wait for the great man himself to get here, and that's Carp. Carp has arrived. He says, yep, and that's the battle cry, okay? That's the signal. Let's see here. Colonial Barbell Club says, wake up, wake up, wake up. What's up, my dude? Hey, man, I saw you. I've already starred your response. I'm ready to go. Let's see here. George Risto, what's up, man? You turning into a regular. This is starting to become a habit. This show's habit forming for you. I love it. He says, good morning. I'll be catching up through the morning. And he's answering the question of the day. Says, just trying to be a good example for my boys. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. That motivated me through many workouts when I didn't feel like doing it. My wife Naomi is in the live chat, so I'm always happy. I just saw her 15 minutes ago, but I'm always happy to see her, no matter how recently it's been since I've seen her. Let's see. So Jonathan says he came here for John, but he's staying for Exponent Edge. So I appreciate your enthusiasm. However, Jason from Exponent Edge will be on here next week. So what you do is just stay here. All right. That way you won't be late. You just stay here until next week. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to start that. And by the way, No Fake 24/7 is another one of my favorite YouTube channels. That is that channel content is typically something I would have on while I'm lifting, but occasionally I'll do like a back-to-back. I'll have multiple videos from that channel, from No Fake 24/7 channel. I'll have them back to back, and I'll just create a playlist and I'll just watch it on the treadmill. So it's always good. Jonathan's always got a unique take on not just home gym equipment, but just everything he reviews and all his topics. Does a great job of talking about the home gym news of the day. Sometimes he's the first to break news. So you guys, if you're not subscribed, you want to make sure that you jump on board and become a subscriber. Let's see here. Next up, let's see. We had my guy Jared. What's up, Jared? He says, good morning. What's up, man? Awesome having you here as usual. Shout out to you, the family, the wife and kids. Tell them I said, hey, make sure your son is ready to sing the song with me at 6:45. Let's see. Fuego 4466. Maybe that's just Fuego 4466. How's that? Y'all didn't know I could do that, did you? He says, good effing morning. Shake time. Let's go. Hey, make it shake. Make some shake, all right? Let's see here. Jonathan said next week is too late, but I'll wait. Hey, dude, I'm telling you, it'll be worth it. We'll talk about it a little bit today, but I don't want to deep dive too much into it. I'd rather hear most of what happened, most of the stuff related to that. I'd rather have Jason just say it himself. Let's see here. Oh, wow. So that's your motivation. Hey, you know what? I'll come back to that. I love seeing that, Carp. Okay. And here's another one from my guy Fuego. What's up? All right. So you guys keep on putting in your answers to the question of the day. I've got 4 responses starred so far, so I'll be able to get back to them. And Carlos said, I was waiting to hear that. Carlos said, my mic sounds nice. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I was waiting to hear it. I should have asked you guys to tell me, because I need to say this every week, and that is so I've got these on. That is so I can hear whenever I play like media. So if I play like a clip or something like that, I need to be able to hear what you guys hear, but I can't hear myself unless you guys tell me if the mic cuts off or more likely if the sound changes, which means I switched from the primary mic to sometimes inadvertently I'll switch to a backup mic, which doesn't sound as good, which is why it's the backup mic. I won't know. So you guys just got to let me know. If all of a sudden I sound like broadcasting from the bathroom, let me know immediately. And there we go. There's another one. All right. Okay. So we've now got 5 responses, and it is now time to go ahead and dive into the first segment, which is news and other things. Let's go. All right. So I've already told you guys the question of the day, but I'll tell you again. First item is what motivates you to not quit on your fitness goals. So the reason why this is news is because I had no idea that this was even a thing. But apparently, today is Quitter's Day. Yes, there is such a thing as Quitter's Day. And in order to give you more insight into that, I'm going to have to do something called the first screen share of the day. Yep, that's right. Calm down. All right. Very popular. Screen shares are very popular with this crowd. All right. So Quitter's Day. So Quitter's Day is held on the second Friday in January every year. This year it is today, January 9th. And the point of Quitter's Day is that it is the unofficial day when many people give up on their New Year's resolutions because their motivation fades, life starts lifing more than life was lifing before. You think about it, like a lot of times when people make their New Year's resolutions, they're often on vacation from their jobs. Well, then they come back to work, and that first week is okay. Then by that second week, the daily grind has got them down. And that's when a lot of people quit. So the question of the day is, because if you're watching this, you probably have survived at least one Quitter's Day without quitting, right? And so I want to hear from you guys as I take my phone out of my pocket. I want to hear from you guys what makes you keep going. Like, what makes you not quit? We're going to deep dive into it and discuss it further at the second hour of the show. But this is just to give you guys time to throw your responses in there, and then we'll talk about it. Now, if you're in the replay gang, I still want to hear from you. I'm going to have that question of the day, as usual, pinned to as the first comment when you turn the video on. And I want to hear from you guys. Just reply to that comment what your motivation is to keep going. Okay. But anyway, so Quitter's Day, supposedly Quitter's Day is supposed to encourage people to try again. Like, hey, it's Quitter's Day. I don't particularly know how that's motivational, knowing that it's such a widespread phenomenon that they got a day set aside for it. But that's supposedly the point, and it's Quitter's Day. So, all right. Now, also, we got something that I'm really, really proud of, and that is, well, there's 2 things that happened this week. The first thing is that I got a notification from YouTube that says that our channel turned 8 years old today. So when I woke up this morning, I saw it. It says, "Congratulations, your channel is 8 today and it's aging beautifully. Many happy returns." Well, thank you, YouTube. I appreciate that. So it's hard for me to believe that, I know it, but just thinking like it's 2026 and I've been doing this on YouTube for 8 years. So, and to be honest with you, well, because obviously I've never hit this milestone before, but I had no idea that YouTube even sent these out. I don't know if this is a new thing or if this is something that they've been doing, because I don't remember getting anything when I hit like the 5-year mark or the 1-year mark, right? But that's kind of like, that's pretty cool. And honestly, that's a shout out to you guys, because you guys give me the motivation to, in terms of this, you give me the motivation to keep going, because it's been, in some case, sometimes there have been times in those 8 years where it's been a little bit rough. But something else that I found out, and this was earlier this week, I got an email from vidIQ. So we use vidIQ to help with optimizing the titles of our videos and things like that. And so they sent us an email. They send you progress emails, right? So here is what I got from vidIQ. Here we go. This was crazy. Yes, that says 11 million views. That is crazy to me. Like intellectually, I know, okay, like I know we've had we've got a YouTube short that's got 3.5 million views on it. I know that we've had some very popular videos, but 11 million views is a lot. So I gotta say, I appreciate all you guys who have watched that much of our content. Even if you only watch one video, you were part of getting us to that point. And I'm gonna say that this live stream is, and the people who watch it, you guys who watch it, there's 861 of you watching right now. You are contributed to that 11 million views. So huge shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for all of the support. Before I talked about anything else, I had to make sure I said thank you for this, because this that you guys are looking at right now is a reason for everything that I'm able to do everything else that I'm about to talk about in the rest of the show. So I really, it's so motivating. And when we get to the end and I talk about like the things I learned this week, I'm going to refer back to that graphic right there, because I did learn some stuff that I'm actually applying to help Naomi build her home office channel. So her channel is growing a lot faster than the Garage Gym Life channel did, because we got the advantage of kind of like knowing what not to do. You know what I mean? So I'm really proud of her. Naomi, so she started her channel the week of Thanksgiving, and she is at I want to say 4,500 subscribers right now. I want to say that. I'm not sure. Actually, now I'm curious. Let me look that up. Let me see. I'm pulling it up here. I know this is riveting to watch. All right, so this is right here. 4.63 thousand. Okay, so a little over 4,500 subscribers. Yeah, and that's just since, like I said, Thanksgiving. It took me probably 6 months when I was building Garage Gym Life to get to 100 subscribers. Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you, it's there you go. That's right, 4,600. She told me. Yeah, that's right. So it's like it's the lessons that we've learned that are helping, but it's still all down to you guys. So that's not a victory lap. That's me saying, it's crazy when you know what you're doing, you know what I mean? Or, well, we know what we're doing more than we did in the beginning. Jared said, wow, that's rapid channel growth. Now, I will say that some of it is because of the topic, because home office stuff is a bigger topic. I mean, just think, if you Google work from home, you're going to get a lot more responses than if you Google like home gym. Okay. At least, even during lockdown, more people were talking about working from home than they were working out from home. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of it, but still. So let's see here. Trevor said, almost a year in, I'm not even at 200 subscribers. Hey, dude, I'm telling you, and let me say this too, that so like, like how I say, like at the end, like the little, this is not you specifically, but when I say the stuff at the end, or comes like sometimes during the show specifically, I'll say, we need to, you need to do this. So I just like throw out something like, hey, this is what I think people should do, or whatever. All that stuff that I say is what we're actually doing with Naomi's channel. Okay. So if you go back but that's one reason why I started doing the what did I learn this week at the end of the show, because I want to reward those of you who stick with us the entire show, especially if you've got your own channel or you want to start your own channel, by telling you something that's going to help you grow faster than me. You know what I mean? So there you go. All right. Carp said the Bells of Steel roller deadlift jack arrived last night. Oh, that's dope, man. I cannot wait to see that review. That's actually one of the products from them that I'm super excited about. I've thought about getting it just because while we do have, and actually, so we have the barbell jack. We have 2 of those barbell jacks from the barbell jack here, and they work fine. But for the sake of saving time, I'd love to use the Bells of Steel roller deadlift jack. Just add that to my arsenal. So, all right. Anyway, so I'm glad that you got it, and I cannot wait to hear to see your video about what you think of it. Carp said Naomi is killing it with her channel. It took me 4 years to get halfway there. Carp's gym, living on a prayer. Hey, I'm telling you, dude, that there is a I want to encourage you guys. So you notice I started out saying my channel is 8 years old, right? And there are channels that started after me that are growing more rapidly than I did. So for example, the Jungle Gym Reviews is growing faster than I did when I was at the same point, right? But a lot of this stuff isn't, I wouldn't say it's not complicated. What I'm saying is that unfortunately, everybody doesn't want to tell you how to grow on YouTube. I'm one of the people that'll just tell you anything you ask me. I'll help you as much as I can. But what I've also found is that people who, like when I give advice to people, sometimes they don't want to hear it, or they're not ready to hear it, right? So I don't push because I ain't here to fight you. This ultimately is your channel and whatever you want to do with it. So, yeah. But I agree with Carlos. He said, "Don't give up, Trevor," and I say the same thing. I say the same thing. Do not give up, because you guys have quality content. Carlos, you and Trevor both have quality content, and that's why I'm passionate about supporting you guys, because I'd rather see your stuff than some of the weird junk that's on YouTube. You know what I mean? All right. Let's see here. Kevin, hey, another YouTube channel I'm a big fan of. Kevin says, hey, everyone, been a super busy 2 weeks, but finally I'm back here. Nice to see you, John. Happy New Year, Kevin. I kind of I think we're going to do a series with you, because I want to do a series with you where we keep track of how long your Christmas tree stays up. Because I know you said that in Filipino culture, you guys don't take your tree down as quickly as we do. And actually, our tree is coming down today. We normally take it down on the 6th of January, 3 West Kings Day. But life was life, and we got a lot of stuff going on. So I wasn't able to take it down. So it's going to get taken down today after the show. But yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to do a Christmas tree watch, Christmas tree tracker and specifically Kevin's Christmas tree tracker with Kevin. Just see how long the tree stays up in his house, just because I want to know. All right, gonna give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, One Audio. One Audio gifted us 2 pairs of studio headphones. That includes the one that I'm wearing, which is the Studio Max 1. Is awesome. We used it last week. The audio is perfect. It is so high quality. Let me let you guys see what the inside of it is. So you see it's got right and left. These ear cushions, very, very comfortable. I've had headphones before where like my ears didn't really fit in this little inside the ear cup. This is really, really comfortable. I love it. I don't have to worry about, like sweating or anything like that. You have the options of 2 different size jacks. I'm using a jack right now, or you can go Bluetooth with it. So if you're a content creator and you do any kind of podcasting or stream or live streaming or anything like that, I highly recommend that you go ahead and give the One Audio the One Audio product line a try. They've got multiple kinds of headphones. Naomi has the Fusion A70s, and she really is a big fan of them. So I'm going to be putting the link to check those out in the description for this video, so you guys can go check it out. There is a promo code that will help us out. So if you want to support the channel, use that promo code. And when you go to oneaudio.com, and you'll be helping us out. Let me go ahead. And in fact, I will add that now before I forget, like I forgot already once. So so give you guys, so this is the promo code. Let's see here, to get, use promo code Garage20, and that will save you 20% off on either the Studio Max or the A70. All right, and you're going to use that at checkout. And let's see, we'll go to One Audio right here. All right, so there we go. And this is the link right here. I'm posting that in the chat right now. Boom. And it's also going to be in the description for this video. Okay. So if you're watching on replay, shout out to Replay Gang. Just go to the video description and you'll see the link there. And then if you and then use promo code Garage20 to save 20% and to support the show. All right. So there's that. All right, now let's move along. Let's go to a segment that I'm going to call What's Not on Sale. All right, so hey, we got a superstar here. What's up, Mike Brantley? What's going on, man? What's good? So yeah, you guys keep an eye out. Mike's got a lot going on. He's getting some visibility on the socials. So yeah. He shared some good news with me yesterday, and I'm not gonna reveal it until it comes out, until he gives me the heads up that I can go ahead. But yeah, I'm super excited for this opportunity that he had, and I will definitely be sharing everything about it as soon as the time is right. But for right now, good morning. Thank you for getting up way too early, especially you on the West Coast. All right, so like I said, we're going to talk about what's not on sale. So Fringe Sport Gibbon Arms are not on sale, at least not technically, because the early access, I told y'all last week that they were on early access. Well, early access went live at 12:42, maybe 12:30 on January 7th. So I guess that was Wednesday. And they sold out by 3 p.m. So now they're on pre-order. So if you guys do not know what the Gibbon Arms are, Paired and Powered Up, Jeff and Perrin from Paired and Powered Up were able to check them out when they visited Fringe Sport. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share a quick snippet from that visit with Peter Keller. You guys will be able to see them in the background. So those are the Gibbon Arms over in the back over Peter's head. So I cut the sound off for the sake of not having any issues with their sound. And I'm going to show you guys the link. So just in case you guys have not actually seen this video, I encourage you to watch it. And I'm going to share the link so you guys can go watch it after this is over. But this is the Gibbon Arms. You see Peter's doing like a quick demo of them right there. And see how they swivel. And so that's why a lot of people are very excited about them. They look to be similar to the Tornado Arms from GetRx. And one thing I'll say right off the top is I love the color scheme. You guys know I'm a big fan of red and black. And I'm a huge fan of that color scheme. I'm actually glad. I know some people were like, why is Fringe Sport going away from their green? I'm like, hey, look, I'm a fan of red and black, okay? So you ain't going to hear me complaining at all about the fact that they are doing a different color, different colors here. So as I said, I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead and add this to the video description now. start at. So you actually, yeah. So I'm adding this to the video description that we talk about right now. And that way you guys can go check this out after this video is over. Gibbon Arms with at pair and powered up. Boom. Boom. All right. That's updated as well now. All right. So now you guys can go check that out. Let's see. Trevor said Tim from Fringe made a video about them too that came out this week. Oh yeah, I mean, I know Fringe Sport made a video about it, but I specifically took you guys to Jeff and Perrin's video because Fringe Sport is already getting, some exposure due to the fact that Jeff and Perrin were there. And so I'll tell you, this is one of the things that I do to highlight content creators, right? So I had the option of, so remember I said earlier that there are things you learn, the little tricks you learn or whatever. So I had the option of going straight to Fringe Sport to show you guys that footage. But instead of doing that, I went to Jeff and Perrin's, right? And that's something that you guys can also do if you want to support a content creator and help them grow by doing that. Because I'll just tell you, as a content creator, one of the most frustrating, I'm not coming at you, Trevor. It's just a good opportunity to say this. One of the most frustrating things as a content creator is when you say, hey, I made a video about this or that thing, right? And somebody says, oh yeah, so-and-so, and you're trying to promote it. And somebody says, oh yeah, so-and-so also made one. Because you kind of take the attention away from the thing you're trying to promote, which is their video, right? So in this case, yes, I'm aware that Fringe Sport made a video, but I specifically wanted to highlight Jeff and Perrin. I feel like they took the time to come on the show, just like you take the time to come on the show. They take the time to come on the show. So the least I can do is promote them. And I'm not going to be like some of the other content creators out there who will talk about something that they have found out by watching someone's video and then not give that person credit. They just say it like it's a fact they already knew. I ain't going to be like that. Okay. Charlie said green is the color scheme for me. Hey, look, I don't knock the fact that you want to be a Ninja Turtle. All right. I don't I don't knock anybody who's into green. I just, it ain't for me. I'm look, you see that right there? See that color scheme right there? See that? Okay. All right. That's why. All right. See that color scheme in the logo right there? See the color scheme in the logo? There you go. And so Carlos said that he is at 10,000 steps right now. I am at, I don't know if you guys can see this. You probably can't. So hold up. I'll do a screenshot and then I'll upload it to Google Drive so you can see it. And then I'll share it here in the chat so you guys can see where I am as of right now. And obviously that number is not going to go up because I'm sitting down. So I actually had not planned on doing that, but since he said something about it, I'm going to do it too. Let you know you ain't the only one walking, okay? I'm just going to, I don't want you thinking you're the only one walking. All right. And in fact, if because of what we're talking about, if anybody else has their step count that they want to share, go ahead and throw it in the chat. How many steps are you at right now? As of right now, if you're doing your step count. Let's see here. Colonial Barbell Club says K-bar isn't your color scheme. I mean, as you can see by this K-bar that I was given when I was Marine of the Year in 2003. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. Yeah, 2003 Marine of the Year. Ain't no green on that. This is a K-bar. Ain't no green on that. So, nah. So to answer your question, no, green is not my color scheme. I spend enough time wearing green as a representative of the United States government whenever violent action was required that I don't need to wear green anymore. Hey, don't get mad at me because you were in the Navy. You couldn't be Marine of the Year. There, Mike. Hey, I tell you, I'm Marine of the Year, homie. You want to see my two meritorious promotion certificates? I'll show them to you. I'll be happy to. I don't have them in here, but I got them. I will screenshot them and send them to you. I'm proud of my achievements in the Corps. Anyway, it ain't bragging if you did it. All right. Anyway, moving along. So as I said, the Frenchport Gibbon Arms. Y'all thought I forgot what I was talking about, huh? Frenchport Gibbon Arms have sold out, and so they are now on pre-order. There is an early access button, so you guys, yeah. So they only had like 200 in stock, and there were 1,000 people who signed up. So if you missed the ability to do it, to pre-order, I'm sorry, if you missed the ability to buy some, here is the link to get them. I'm going to just share this with you. This is not an affiliate link. I have no affiliate relationship with Frenchport whatsoever. Just want y'all to know I just like their products. But here is the link right now. And I just posted it. So there you go. All right. Oh my goodness. Kurt, what's up, man? You say everybody knows Marine of the Year gets a crayon. Hey, I get a big crayon, okay? That's the difference. Everybody else gets a regular size crayon. Kevin said he sent me his step count in WhatsApp. Do I want to do it that way? Yeah, let's do that. Nope, I don't. Let's do it that way. So hang on. It's gonna be difficult for me to do that. Hey, do me a favor, Kevin. Screenshot it, post it on Instagram, and just let me know, and then I'll pull it up. Pull up your Instagram so I can show it, because it'll be a lot more complicated if I do it the way I was just about to do it. Because I got logged out of WhatsApp here on the desktop. All right, so moving on. Next item: the Iron Master Valhalla 3000 is going on pre-order on January 23rd. So let's go ahead and they have actually got a video that I'm going to show you guys. Let me screen share it out. Yeah, this is it. So let's go ahead and play that. I've not watched this. Okay, these are people. Okay, there you go. They look happy and fit. So the Iron Master Valhalla, it's basically, they say it's the next evolution of the Iron Master self-spotting systems. I believe this is what they had at Home Gym Con. Something I'm a big fan of, if you guys can see, there is the footrests that are right behind. They're right there in the back of the unit. So, you know, most people do like rows. The thing that Brian pointed out to me was, he's like, I'm sorry, not Brian. It wasn't Brian. It was Matt I was talking to. Brian works at Iron Master as well, but I was talking to Matt. And he pointed out that when people do rows, they usually sit on a bench. And so they decided to put the footrests, integrate the footrests into the unit and put them up where it would make the most sense if you're sitting on a bench. So that is what that's what it looks like. And you can see that they've got the super bench there integrated with it. This thing does a lot. They said it combines a full width dual adjustable functional trainer, free bar Olympic half rack, and the self-spotting system. So you've got choices. If that's something that you are looking into grabbing, that thing had the Iron Master 3000. It might be the way to go for you. And it is going on pre-order on January 23rd. So if you guys are interested in grabbing that, you want to go to ironmaster.com, sign up for their newsletter, and they will send you an email with a link so that you can pre-order. Or you can go to here. Well, this is another way to do what I just said. You go to the website, go to there, and then you'll see, like, it says note, and you have the button that says notify me when back in stock. That'll basically put you on the mailing list, and they'll let you know when it's time for you to start doing the pre-order. Okay. But anyway, if that's something that you're interested in, then go ahead, jump on that. Hang on a second here. Let's see what I'm missing. Somebody told me a step count. All right, so Kevin said he's at 2258 now. All right, so keep in mind now, Kevin's in Japan, so it's nighttime for him. All right, I'm at just under 10,000, and it's 6:41 in the morning for me. Okay, and it's 5:41 in the morning for Carlos. So Kevin's ahead of us, but hey, ain't nothing wrong with leading the way, Kevin. Nothing wrong with leading the way. Let's see here. Jared says unique option there with the Iron Master rack. And yes, Trevor did interview him on his channel not long ago. I watched that, and I actually shared it with Naomi because there were some, and in fact, I think I actually referenced that interview in another video that I did where I was talking about it was one of the adjustable bench videos where I was talking about something that Matt pointed out. He's like, people want you to do all these adjustments and improvements and things with a bench. He's like, but you get to a point where certain tweaks aren't possible without dramatically increasing the cost of the product. And he said you also can tweak a product to the point where you actually ruin it. And so I thought that those were really good points that he brought out. That's actually a solid. Actually, it's a great interview. I really enjoyed it. So you guys can check that out. Again, yet another reason to check out the One Disgruntled PM. I'm sorry, check out the Disgruntled PM podcast on YouTube, and it's also on LinkedIn. Check it out. All right. Next item, Bear Steel Equipment. This is a news item. Bear Steel Equipment announced that they are now part of StrengthFlex. So StrengthFlex is a distributor and manufacturer of gym equipment. Oh, there's Kevin's thing. All right, there we go. Kevin said he's bringing the receipts. All right, so let's stop what we're talking about, and let me just show y'all this. I'll go ahead. So right here it is. He DM'd it on Instagram. 22.55.28. Hey, my man. Well done. Well done. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that at all. All right. Keep going, man. I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm gonna hit that number, but I do still have to work out today. So I typically get about 7,000 steps when I'm lifting, just walking around, loading plates, doing whatever. So we'll see where I end up at by the end of the day. I see, and yeah, okay, just making sure I'm caught up. All right, so StrengthFlex, like I said, is a manufacturer and distributor of equipment. So let's see if I can find them. Yeah, there we go. All right, so I had not heard of them up until I saw the announcement from Bear Steel Equipment. So I immediately went to the StrengthFlex website and I searched, and unfortunately, I did not find any Bear Steel equipment on here. But they did say, let's see. They did say that on Instagram that they are now part of Bear Steel Equipment. I'm sorry, that Bear Steel Equipment is now part of StrengthFlex, right? So I'm going to pull up their post and we'll talk about that. So right here, so this is 14 hours ago. Bear Steel Equipment said, we're excited to share that Bear Steel Equipment is now part of StrengthFlex Fitness. StrengthFlex has added the Bear Steel Equipment product line to our extensive line of gym and competition exercise and fitness equipment. For Bear Steel Equipment customers, this means the products you've supported aren't disappearing. They're moving forward with stronger backing, improved availability, and long-term support through StrengthFlex. So what I think the advantage is here is the distribution is going to become more robust. You're not going to have issues with, not that you really had before, but it's probably going to improve the ability to keep stuff in stock, expand where these products are going to be available. So there should be a lot of advantages to those of us who like Bear Steel Equipment products. I am going to reach out to Bear Steel Equipment, to Sean, see if I can get him on. His schedule is a little iffy, but because of his day job, but I'll see if I can get him to come on the show so we can deep dive into that. And even if I can, I'll just at least get a quote from him so we can unpack exactly what, how this partnership is going to add value to the home gym community. So you guys stay tuned for more details as they become available. All right. Let's see here. Jared said, good news item because I saw that. I'm not familiar with that brand. Yeah, I was today years old when I found out that they existed. So I will also, if it works out, I'll also see if I can get Strengthless on the show. So like I said, just stay tuned. I'll do, like I always tell you guys, I'll do what I can to get the people on who you guys want to hear from. Last item is interesting. It says apparently Nashville's fitness scene is booming. So this was a press release that I read, and it basically was talking about different boutique studios that are growing. A lot of Pilates recovery concept studios and places like that are opening in Nashville. Part of that is because Nashville, from 2020 to 2024, the Nashville metro area added more than 136,000 residents. And those, a fair amount of those people are interested in fitness, especially post pandemic. So for the purposes of the press release, they were focused on, like I said, public and semi-private gyms. But the thing that the thing that I thought about was that that means that the Music City Fit Expo, is probably going to continue to grow. So I noticed that when we went to Music City Fit Expo last year, it was bigger than it was the first time I went, right? And so like the first time we went to it, we were there to live stream Music City Strongest Man competition that was happening there. But that was like, and then they had like a CrossFit competition. That's pretty much it. And they only had a few equipment providers. Well, then when I went last year, that's a few years ago. And then when I went last year, they had a lot more equipment providers, a lot more companies in general, supplement companies, different fitness related companies, including my guy Jason from Surplus Strength. AbMat was there, and they also had a lot more competitions. So I anticipate that Music City Fit Expo is going to continue to grow, and that's always that's a good thing for Carp, Rory, you guys who are in the Nashville area. I plan on going back again this year, yeah, there's that. But I just thought that was interesting. All right, so let's go ahead, and now it is time for the most popular segment. That's right, I didn't forget. It is time for Recliner of Rage. Let's go. It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, 'cause he's not happy.
All right. Today's Recliner of Rage, and I saw your comment, Jake, by the way. In fact, I'll just say it right now before we do it. Recliner Rage, that StrengthFlex manufactures spudding straps. I knew that they distribute it for spudding. I didn't know that they manufacture them, but yeah, that's good. That's good information. And shout out to you. Appreciate you being on the show today. Happy New Year. I haven't talked to you all year. This is my first time talking to you all year. So happy New Year. All right. Now, that's enough of that joy. Back to the rage. Today's Recliner of Rage is dedicated to a product that I never anticipated to be crashing out about, and that is the Ike K1 Smart Home Gym that we have downstairs. Naomi did her review about it. She liked it. She continued to use it along with her other programming through the Ladder app. Primarily, she would do the Ike, like maybe it's like she doesn't really do deload weeks, but there were some weeks where she was like, hey, I don't have, like maybe it's a time factor, or she was like, I just want to change a pace. And so she would use the Ike. And also she used it, as you guys saw, if you saw her video where she was talking about where she did her assessment, the Ike is how she did her fitness assessments, because she started out with an assessment with the Ike. So it kind of created a way to track her progress using the exact same measurement testing tools, right? Well, it looks like that ship may have sailed. All right. I'm not saying definitely, but I'm saying it may have sailed because for whatever reason, the cables refuse to retract. So they're supposed to retract after you're done using the cables that you do the exercise with. They're supposed to retract smoothly back into the handle, basically go back to the unit, but they don't. And if instead it looks like this, they're just kind of like hanging loosely now, right? So this is what it looks like. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, they're just hanging loosely. So we basically just like kind of like roll them up and try to get them out of the way. But that's not what's supposed to be happening. So now this thing is sitting in the gym unusable. And in fact, Naomi went to try to do a workout with the Ike, and she wasn't able to because the cables wouldn't retract. So we've reached out to the company, because I always tell you guys, do not go to social media with your problems first. We've reached out to the company. Naomi reached out. We reached out separately. She reached out, and I reached out to them as well on a different day. And so far, all we've gotten are crickets in our email inboxes. Yes, we've checked our spam folders. So Ike, if anybody from Ike is watching this, I want you to know that currently, right now,
It's the recliner of rage. It's the recliner of rage, 'cause he's not happy.
and I'm especially not happy because I don't like saying to somebody or telling people, putting our reputation on the line and our integrity behind your product, and then that product turns out to be garbage. All right. So I'm saying this now. So it is Friday, 6:53 a.m. on January 9th. Okay. If we haven't heard anything from the company as of Sunday, okay, January 11th in the year of our Lord 2026, if we haven't heard anything, that Ike, that giant cell phone, is headed to Gym Equipment Valhalla. Okay. I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna throw it away, because I'm not the person that sells somebody something that's broken and says, oh well, maybe you could probably fix it. I'm not doing that, because I don't know, once it's broken, if I can't fix it, then I make it your problem. To me, if you get hurt using it, that's my fault. I'm not doing that. So if by Sunday we don't hear something, again, we sent the email last week. Okay, I didn't say anything about this last Friday, but we sent an email last week. I just sent another one this week. Okay, actually I sent two this week, but I sent another one yesterday. If we haven't heard anything by Sunday, that giant cell phone that's downstairs, that's taking up space, is going to Gym Equipment Valhalla. All right. I don't know. And I mean, that may or may not include a Viking funeral where we shoot a flaming arrow at it. I don't know. But all I'm telling you is I do not like that. So as of right now, don't worry about what I said before. That's when I thought the thing was good. I got new information now. Do not buy the Ike K1 until I let you know what their customer service is talking about. Because as of right now, that thing, as far as I'm concerned, is hot garbage. And I am not happy. I am not happy. Because you don't get to, I just told y'all 8 years, right? I spent 8 years building a reputation for being accurate, honest, and fair, and not being a shill. I ain't starting to do that now. I'm not about to sweep this under the rug. So, as far as I'm concerned, they can kick rocks barefooted until such time as I hear something different. And if they do reach out and everything's all good, I will come back and I'll say, all right, they reached out, they made it right. But as of right now, everybody over there and their first cousins can kick rocks barefooted. That's I think this is a good time for me to stop talking about that because I actually am very angry about this. Um, I will answer your question, JB. We had it for about now you asked me questions I don't know the answer to. So rather than making up an answer, I'm gonna go look in my YouTube studio to see when we did the video because let's see here. Give me just a second, I'll tell you the answer to that. So we got it September 5th of last year. No, that's not right. We got it May of last year. And we well, probably late April. And then we published the video May 6th, which was the day after Naomi's birthday, by the way. So yeah, I'd say we got it in April 2025. So April 2025, it hadn't even lasted a full year. So there you go. I hope that answered your question. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not happy about that. Now, something that you guys are going to be happy about is if you check out our favorite products from Bells of Steel, because these are things that won't let you down. Here we go. All right. So you guys go ahead and if you want to support the show, go to the description for this video. If you are watching on Facebook, you have to go to YouTube, but go to the description for this video and visit Bells of Steel. And just it's not gonna raise the price for you or anything like that, but that affiliate link will support Garage Gym Life and help us continue to do what we are doing here. And that is kind of really trying to revolutionize how home gym content is delivered and also the kinds of home gym content you get. Like I said last week, you can't just make a channel that's about just doing reviews and expect to thrive in 2026. And so one of the things that we're trying to do is diversify what we give you guys, because I don't like to watch boring stuff and the same thing over and over again. And I'm sure you don't either. So we're just trying to give you, I'm not telling you to stop watching review videos. I'm just saying we're trying to give you a choice. And part of how you guys can support us doing that is if you decide to make is by supporting the brands that support us. So there's about 1,900 of you guys watching right now. So do me a favor, if you want to support us, go check out Bells of Steel using the link that's in the description for this video. All right. And then also I am going to put the products that our favorite Bells of Steel products, they're going to be added to the shopping button here on YouTube. So you can also do that. If you're on Facebook, though, you need to go to, there's not really an easy way because Facebook doesn't allow you to put enough links in the video. So you'll have to come to YouTube, click and go to the video description and follow that to Bells of Steel. Okay. So I appreciate you guys for all your support as always. Jared said he sent me a DM that may or may not make me feel better. Now the suspense is building. I'm not sure what to do with that. So let's go to my DMs. We're gonna find out. I can tell already it's gonna make me feel better. All right, so yeah, heck yeah. This is about to get hang on a second here. This is about to get played. And here's the thing now. I don't even know what they're about to say. So, y'all know kids say crazy stuff, but I trust these kids. These are my guys right here. Let me show this place.
Sing it.
Man, dude, that right there. Look, you see the smile on my face? First of all, you got those poor children up early. You got those poor kids up early and they watching me crash out. Y'all don't know, man. Jared's kids singing the song. They actually came on the show and sang the song, the Recliner Race song with me once. And that was so special to me. And then also Kevin's kids have sung this, like they laugh. They think this they love Recliner Rage. And he sends me videos of them watching the show. So I really appreciate that, man. That kind of stuff, that right there fuels my fire. I'm telling you right now. Dude, thank you, man. Thank you. And JB, if you gotta go ahead, just message me about that your non-retracting cable thing, and we'll work it out. Maybe I'll let you come on the show next week if you want to crash out, because Recliner Rage is an interactive segment. So if you got something you need to crash out about, I'll let you come on the show and crash out about it. All right, it is now 7:02 Eastern time. Shout out to the Central Time Zone. It is 6:02 a.m. for you guys over there. Some of you guys have already been watching the show, but for those of you who just joined us, thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. And in case you did not know, I am John Greaves III. I am the co-founder of Garage Gym Life. And in addition to watching this show, what I need you to do is hit the like button and hit subscribe to help us continue to grow. I would absolutely love it if we were to hit 75,000 subscribers today. Okay. We are currently, let me go look at it. Let's look at it. We're at 74,477. And there are, there are 2,006 of you watching right now. So I realize some of you have already subscribed, but if you have not subscribed, hit like, then hit subscribe. And let's see if we can get to 75,000 before the end of the show. Okay. And I appreciate you guys for all of your support. All right. So now let's talk about the topic. So as I said, today is National Quitters Day, which is, in my opinion, one of the most horrible things. That quitting your New Year's resolution is such a common phenomenon that they came up with a day commemorating it, right? But such is life, because that is indeed what's going on. So, as I said, so it says that research, and I don't know I guess it'd probably be like exercise scientists, because a lot of so I used to be a member of the National Strength and Conditioning Association. I had my CSCS through them. And one of the things that they did was they funded research studies, right? And so I would assume that a study like that, or maybe studies like that, are where they get this data came from, that people tend to quit their New Year's resolutions by the second Friday of January. Excuse me, by the second Friday of January. Incidentally, I'm going to share my screen real quick, because there are some crazy days that they commemorate, right? There is something called International Choreographers Day. Is that today? Is that also today? What's going on with that? National Apricot Day. These are all January holidays. National Austin Day. I want to know what that is. This has nothing to do with what we're about to talk about, but wow. Okay, so I'm going to share this tab. This has nothing to do with what we were talking about. But National Austin Day has nothing to do with Austin, Texas. National Austin Day is a day that celebrates people named Austin. That's amazing. That's beyond amazing. It says right there, National Austin Day is a day that honors people named Austin. And I did not know this is a derivative of the name Augustus, as in Caesar Augustus. Okay. So today, National Austin Day, what day is that? January 9th. Okay, so yeah, so today is, in addition to being National Quitters Day, it's also National Austin Day. So if you know someone named Austin, make sure you let them know that today is their day. It's, a day that you can do something big to honor them and whatever their legacy might be. Yeah, that's phenomenal. Yeah. All right, back to the point. National Austin Day. That's amazing. Who do I know? Now I'm thinking like, who do I know who's named Austin? Isn't there an Austin with Abmat? I think there is. I think there's an Austin with Abmat. Let me see. Let me look at my phone. I gotta go to my phone. Because if this is the case, I'm gonna send him a text. Say Happy National Austin Day. And he's gonna be like, what are you babbling about? Austin? Yes! Yes! Austin McCarver. Okay. Happy, I'm gonna do it right now. Happy with Admat. Happy National Austin Day. He's gonna be like, why is this lunatic from Garage and Life texting me this? But that's just what I do, man. So if y'all know him, be like, yeah, that's legitimately something that he said he was gonna do on the show. National Austin Day. And I'm gonna send him the link so he knows I'm not making this up. Although I am a little upset that there's not a National John Day, but heck, there might be. All right, so there. So y'all just watched me text Austin McCarver from Abmat to tell him Happy National Austin Day. That happened just now, live. Okay? Okay, yeah. Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's probably the best Austin. Now hold up, does it have to be a first name? Or could we go ahead and grandfather him in? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's go. You know what? The Texas Rattlesnake, I don't care what the rule is. Texas Rattlesnake breaks the rules. So, yeah, that's my guy. That's my dude. I was just watching Steve Austin clips, Stone Cold Steve Austin clips yesterday. Show you what my life is like. Anyway, yeah, Austin is kind of important. So, there we go. So, how about this? I am the only one that I know of who has sent him. In fact, look, all of y'all, if you've got Austin's information, send him a text and say Happy National Austin Day. And if you don't have it, send an email to Abmat and tell them you're just emailing them to tell them Happy National Austin Day because Austin is a pretty big deal at their company. Yeah, let's do that. And then, that way I'll probably get hate. They'll be like, hey, now we got our email servers crashing because all these people sending us Happy National Austin Day emails. Hey, charge it to the game. Anyway, moving along. So more pertinent to what we're supposed to be talking about is today is National Quitters Day. But just about everybody watching this show has made it past at least one Quitters Day, right? Most people who are watching this show, I find it hard to believe that you just started your journey and you're watching this show. If you are, salute to you. But most of the people who are watching have made it past at least one New Year's resolution. So you've gone past at least one Quitters Day, right? And you probably didn't even realize that this was a recognized day. So I want to talk about, well, in the time we have before we bring our guest on, what keeps us going. So the idea of what keeps us going, especially if we train in a home gym, is something that I've thought about a lot since I started working out from home. Because before I started working out at home, I was working in a public gym. And one of the things that we would always say whenever somebody said, oh, I'm just working out of the house, is you just immediately like, oh, yeah, he's not serious. Oh, he fell off, or she's not. Yeah, we'll never see her again, that kind of thing, right? And we was always putting the full court press on, like, hey, you need to get in here, get in the gym so you can be in shape, right? You know what? Yes, let's go ahead and let's celebrate Steve Austin on 316 as well. That's important as well. All right. In fact, Colonial Barbell Club, I'm going to keep you are in charge of remembering that and organizing all of that. So Sean, it's up to you to make sure to keep track of that and remind us all when we're supposed to celebrate Austin 316 on 316 Day. All right. But when I started training at home, like the stereotype was kind of like today, to be honest with you, the stereotype was that people would buy all their gym equipment and then they hang laundry on it. In fact, I when we did our magazine, I used to edit, write, and publish the only magazine in the world at the time, or that was written by and for home gym owners. It's not the only one ever. There was another home gym magazine that predated me. It's from the 80s, but this was a couple years ago. So we did the Home Gym Quarterly, and one of the articles I got was from Peter Keller, and yes, Peter Keller from Fringe Sport, and he called it the treadmill effect, and he was talking about how to avoid buying equipment for your house and then not using it, right? And I got so invested in the idea that we actually did a full documentary. It was 5 episodes, and we called it the Why Project. It's still on here on our channel, because by that time, so we did the documentary in 2018. I had already been working out from home for 18 years by that time, so I knew, the stereotype had exceptions. But most of the people who I knew who had long-term consistency, who were working out at home, were training for something. They competed in something, and that's why they continued to stay consistent, right? So they competed in powerlifting or strongman or something like that. And that's what kept them consistent. I was like, well, what motivates people to keep on training though, if they don't compete in anything? And that was the premise behind the Why Project. So I reached out to some brands for help. Shout out to G Code Nutrition. They supported us and helped make the project possible. Shout out to Julian and Miranda, the founders of Street Parking, because they actually connected me with three of the people who I interviewed for the Why Project. So it's 3 people, 2 separate episodes, and I would never have met them if not for Julian and Miranda directly connecting me with them. So shout out to them. But we even did a trailer, and here's the trailer for the Why Project. Why am I doing this? I'm not training for a fight. Those days are gone. I'll never step inside another ring again. I'll never even be 20 years old again. Never reclaim my lost youth. So why do this? Why push myself, endure the exhaustion, the pain? Day after day, weights, bag work, conditioning. Why push through despite injuries? Why not just settle back, find something else to do? Some other fun activity. Sit back on the couch and watch the game. There's somebody else watching me, and I don't want her to grow up to be a quitter, so daddy can't quit either. All right, you've heard my reason why. Now I want to know yours. My house, my rules. My house, my rules. My house, my rules. All right, so that was the trailer, and we actually, like I said, we got support from brands, and so we were able to actually pay for promotion. So at the time, for the size of the channel, we got good visibility on it. I'll link the Why Project playlist in the description for this video, so if you guys want to watch it, you can check it out. But I played all that just so you guys could kind of get, like, I would frame the discussion that we're about to have, because I want to hear from you guys. Just like I said in the video, I want to hear what keeps you motivated. You heard what keeps me motivated, and y'all saw my little girl. Well, she's 10 now, and she's still one of the main reasons, along with my grandkids and my other kids, why I keep going. And I want to hear from you guys what your reasons are. What keeps you motivated to continue to train. So let's go ahead and see. So I start some of your responses. So let's go here. So Colonial Barbell Club, Sean says, what keeps him motivated is he says, show my boys what is possible with hard work and discipline. Phenomenal. So also, I want to beat my boys in sports until I can't. Hey, that is also phenomenal. I still remember the day I realized I was done racing my kids. We were running out at the beach, and I pulled my calf muscle. And these dudes were just fine. Like, they didn't even warm up. I'm there stretching and everything, getting ready. I'm like, all right, let's go. We started running, man. I pulled my calf muscle. I said, okay, we done. Yeah, and that was it. And then I had a dang powerlifting meet coming up too. But yeah, whatever. I ended up having to do just bench only, but whatever. So that's solid. Carlos said his reason is remembering where I started from and knowing my kids are watching everything I do. I think it's phenomenal that so many of you guys are naming your kids as motivation because kids turn into grandkids. That's how the world works. And that's going to become motivation too. You know, like when I say I want my kids, I'm sorry, my grandkids are motivation because I want to be able to keep, continue playing with them. I like being able to get on the floor with my granddaughter, my grandson, and get back up and not have to like call, paramedics to help me get off the floor because I got on the floor to help them play, to play with them or to help them look for a toy or something like that. You know what I mean? It's just continuing to have capability. So let's see here. What else we got? This is what I said was awesome. Carp said recently his motivation has been Naomi, my wife Naomi's progress. He says she's been doing great. I'll tell you that's another thing that motivated me. Now my goals are nothing like Naomi's. Okay, she wants to go back to competing in triathlons, so that's part of her why. So swim, bike, run. I got zero interest in any of that stuff. All right. I ain't trying to swim anywhere. I ride a bike briefly and I ain't running nowhere. Okay. So that, well, I'll run, but you know what I'm saying? Like she's like racing people. I don't, the most I'll do is a jog and it's got to be infrequent because if I run for too long, my knee, my parting gift. So I got this K-bar in the Marine Corps. I also got a bad knee in the Marine Corps. So that my bad knee will act up if I do too much running. So yeah. But yeah, Naomi does inspire me with how dedicated she's been. And the other thing too is this is her story to tell, but she hasn't had just physical challenges. It's more than just the act of physically losing the weight. She's also had like some mental stuff that she's had to battle through. And so I'm super proud of her. So yeah, that motivates me as well, Carp. I agree. My guy, Fuego 4466 said, wanting to see my numbers progress and not regress keeps me motivated. I won't allow myself to get too weak. That is another one. It's like, when you know what you used to be able to do, and I'm not talking about what you could do in high school, because anything that you could do more than 10 years ago, you probably, if it's been more than 10 years since you could do it, it's going to be unlikely for you to be able to do that thing, no matter how hard you train. I'm not saying impossible, just unlikely. But if I know, okay, last year I was benching, I don't know, 340, and I can't do it now, I'm motivated to get back to that and surpass it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I resonate with that as well. And then Trevor said, my motivation is simple, being able to keep myself in shape so I can play with my kids. Again, kids are such a huge factor because, and here's another thing, is like when you see your kids, like the instinct is, they're not interested in working out. Well, I'm going to tell you that if your kids see you consistently doing it, they will want to start doing with you. First, they'll just be playing. Then they're going to want to lift. Right. And, I hear people, I'm of two minds about it because sometimes people are like, well, I don't want to force them to do it. I'm like, well, you make them brush their teeth, right? And you make them do it because it's good for them. So I believe that kids need to be physically active because it's good for them. But they don't necessarily need to compete in powerlifting like I do, if that makes sense. So I insist that my kids do something physically active because it's good for them, just like I made them brush their teeth. But I'm not necessarily going to make them lift weights, if that makes sense. So there. Let's see here. Carlos said, confession, once a week I hang laundry on my functional trainer to dry my workout clothes. You're uncoachable though. That's the problem. That's the situation. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Mike Hey, this is the poster child for dedication. Mike says, I do it because my son is watching. Plus, now I'd like to become the second Marine of the year. Hey, lofty goals, my man. I am here to support you as you embark on that journey to become second Marine, to become Marine of the Year as well. Okay. Do your thing. Do your thing. I'm here to support you. All right. Carp said, motivation is definitely my girls. One day they'll need to be walked down the aisle and daddy has got to make it there. Man, yes. It's not just, so I come from a family that lives a long time. And so it's like really easy. You hear people say stuff like, you work out all the time, but you're going to die anyway. Nobody gets out of this alive. It's not about that. It's about quality of life. Because would you rather spend 50 years in a wheelchair? Or would you rather spend that time enjoying life, able to do things, go hiking, go on vacations, travel, just whatever stuff? You know what I'm saying? I think that too often, and that's the reason why, hang on a second, I'll take off. There's a reason why I say, don't be a NARP, non-athletic regular person, because non-athletic regular people are burden on society. I'm not trying to be mean, but you don't call paramedics to the houses of athletic people. Not unless we do something to ourselves. Anybody can have a heart attack. I mean, I remember Len Bias played for University of Maryland. All right. But I'm saying in general, if you're in shape, the paramedics probably ain't coming to your house unless you did something stupid with a chainsaw. Right? Naomi. See if I can get my Naomi to come in here. All right. Anyway, yeah, when she comes back by, I'll let her know. I just want her to see what you said about her carp. Oh, I'll show her later on if I have to. Anyway, so like I said, being healthy makes you more useful to society. Like what Mark Ripito said, strong people are harder to kill and more useful in general is the other part of the quote that people forget. You're more useful. Somebody in your family needs help moving. They're not calling the person who's wheelchair bound on oxygen. That's just, yeah. And even if you don't want to necessarily be like helping everybody move, I still don't want to be, if it's preventable, I don't want the paramedics coming to my house because there's somebody else that may have had something. If they're at my house helping me, they're not at somebody else's house helping them. And that person may have had something happen to them that they couldn't avoid. What right do I have to use up limited resources, because I was just too lazy to be in shape? No, that's not acceptable. Jared says, what keeps him going? He said multiple reasons. I don't want to look like a normal dad. I want to be able to play rough with my boys, both short and long term. So I've been the guy who lifts for decades, and I can't let that just die. So this thing becomes part of your identity. Now, I don't think that being in shape should define who you are, but I think it does define how much you value yourself and how much you value your family, because that's the other thing. If you let yourself get out of shape, your family, the ones that are going to have to take care of you. If you're in a situation where you're like, let's say you do something to yourself, because of negligence. I'm not saying that things can happen. Anything can happen, right? And I'm not knocking anybody who has like some sort of, prayers for people who have chronic illnesses and things that they can't control. But I'm saying if through your own negligence, you allow yourself to get in a situation where you need a caregiver, that person is giving up part of their life and their dreams because you couldn't get off the cookies. I mean, just think about that. You're like, oh, well, it's my life. I should be, but no, you affect other people. JB said, my motivations always revolved around the kiddos. Started with wanting to be around longer and get rid of diabetes. He said, fix my A1C levels. Hey, let's stop right there. I'm not even hitting the applause button for that. I'm clapping myself, man, because that's awesome. Shout out to you. Said now, so he fixed his A1C levels. Now it's up to keep up with his kid, his daughter, jumping for hours on the trampoline. Those are memories you'll never be able to recover if you don't have those moments. Those moments are precious, and you don't get to have them if you do something to yourself that puts you in a situation where you're just non-functional. So I'm 52 years old, right? I have a 10-year-old daughter. Now, I work weird hours. So there are days when I'm tired. But in general, I like being able to hang out with my daughter, right? Like there are times when like I'll be messing with her and she'll start chasing me and stuff. I like being able to like run around, so like play with her. She's not gonna be 10 forever. Let's see here. So Jared says, another thing is I hope something positive for my body and my long term. So I've also invested stupid money into a sick home gym and would have crazy guilt not using it. My boys hanging out with me in the gym is great. So that's the thing. I like the word you said, invested, right? Because you buy quality equipment, right? That stuff isn't going to just fall apart. So that means your kids, they grow up thinking, okay, working out is normal. That's just how normal people are supposed to be. They may say, hey, you know, you may be able to pass on some of your equipment to them. You know, Ashley Romiak, 332. Shout out to 332. You guys know that Ashley's home gym started with gym equipment that she got from her dad, who also still has a home gym to this day. Ashley's legacy in terms of all the things that she has accomplished is tied to, you could trace it back, because I remember when I first interviewed her, you could trace the things that Ashley has accomplished, including getting her master's degree, traveling the world, the experiences she's had. You could trace them back to working out with her dad in the home gym. You don't know what kind of destiny and legacy you're setting aside for your kids. 2 of my kids are in the Marine Corps now because of working out with me in the home gym. All right. You never know. You never know where life's going to take your kids. And so this is bigger than just, you know, you put this legacy up and why it's important, put it up against, and you never hit quitter's day. Quitter's day doesn't happen because it's too important to you, right? And I'm saying this in case you're watching this and you don't want to do the thing. You committed to something. Maybe you made some unrealistic commitments. All right. And maybe you made some unrealistic New Year's resolutions, because that is part of it too. You need to make sure that your resolution is realistic and achievable, right? You know, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. But maybe you're thinking about quitting right now and you're watching this. The reason why I'm doing this segment on Quitter's Day is because I don't want you to quit. I want you to be able to come back next year and say, I stuck it out because I saw your episode last January and I stuck it out. And today I've, you know what I mean? You've got a story to tell like JB had about getting A1C under control. I want you to succeed. I believe you could. I wouldn't even be wasting my time if I didn't think you could do it. I'll talk about something else. I promise you, I got other stuff that's on my rundown that I could be talking about right now. Not this. But I think this is important. I believe in y'all. Dennis, what's up, Dennis? Hey, answer the question. Do me a favor, answer the question of the day, Dennis. It's what the question of the day is. What motivates you to not quit your fitness goals? What keeps you motivated to continue pursuing your fitness goals, even when you get discouraged? Because it's not that discouragement doesn't happen. All right. The difference between us and non-athletic regular people is we get disappointed and we keep going. We get discouraged and we keep going. So here's the shirt, right? I meant to show you that. The normal response, I just told you they got an entire day devoted to quitting, to celebrating quitting, because that's the normal pattern. Well, normal people die easier. Whenever you get in some sort of crisis and somebody survives it, what do they say? Or a normal person wouldn't have survived that, right? Because normal people die. Normal is dangerous. Kinsey, what's up? She said, good morning. You actually came. Hey, Dustin. Yeah, you guys are y'all came in at the exact right time because we are talking about what motivates you to keep going. So today is apparently National Quitters Day or Quitters Day because the research has found that people quit their New Year's resolutions by the second Friday in January, which is today. So we're just talking about all of us just sharing stuff. So people who come back around and are watching on replay, or somebody who's watching it live, who's thinking about quitting, can get motivated. Maybe they won't quit today. All right. So everybody just please continue sharing what keeps you going. And in fact, tell me what kept you going during a time when you were thinking about quitting. What made you not quit? So add that to it as well. So this is a good quote. Socrates said, Dustin said, it is a disgrace for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. And that's Socrates. Yup. Kinsey said, looks like I popped in at a perfect time. You sure did, because you are eminently qualified to discuss this topic. Kinsey said, I lost 80 pounds on a New Year's resolution. So I definitely want to hear from you. What made you not quit? What was it that kept you going past the second Friday in January? What made you stick with it? Dustin said, can confirm Ken Hromiak. Ashley's dad is the OG in home gyms and has even built his own equipment. The guy's a natural engineer and fitness enthusiast. Yeah, I mean, see, I didn't even know Dustin was going to be watching, right? And I know I say stuff a lot and people are like, what? And they don't know if they can believe it. I promise you, I don't say stuff that's not true. And I don't say stuff that I don't know about. So I appreciate Dustin confirming right there. So look, independently, we didn't rehearse it. All right. We didn't have practice before the show. All right. I said, okay, I'm going to say this and I need you to come in at 7:30 and, just kind of chime in and back me up. Right now. It's just a fact. So like I said, Ashley's she still had to put in the work, and I'm not taking away from what she did, but I'm saying her dad laid a foundation with something that he probably thought, he never imagined it was going to create a legacy for his daughter. You imagine you see your little girl, you don't think, oh, well, one day my little girl is going to grow up to jump out of airplanes as a ranger. Nah. He probably saw her like in the gym with him and was like, oh, that's cute. And they laughed about it. You never know where this is going to take you and where it's going to take your kids. It's bigger than you. So we have got what looks like a troll. This is Satvin Kumar -N2E. So what we're going to do with you is ban you and delete your comments. But I appreciate you for doing that, because now everybody watching this can see what happens when you act. To quote Eric B. and Rakim, whoever's out of hand, I'm going to give them handles. There you go. So be off with you. Go find somewhere else to be and something constructive to do while you're there. Anyway, so yeah, as I was saying, and Dennis, like I said, man, I want to hear from all of you guys, because everybody watching who's in the chat has had some moment when they wanted to quit. For me, I've had multiple. Okay. But one of them was when I had my car wreck, and they told me, I tried to keep working out, and they said, I was told you need to stop, because if you keep going, people won't understand that you're just trying to stay with it and stay dedicated. It's going to interfere with your ability to get what you're rightfully owed for this lawsuit. Right. And I was like, seriously? I'm like, but what I'm doing doesn't even have anything to do with that. And nope, you can't work out. Okay. So I got out of the habit of working out. And then when it came back, it's like, man, this is so hard. There are days when I'm downstairs working out, training, and I get so discouraged because it's like weight that should be light for me is heavy. Or I'm hitting the bag and I'm like, man, why am I out of breath? This should be easy for me. But I'm not going to quit because I ain't no, I'm not a non-athletic regular person. I'm not going to be normal because normal is dangerous. I'm going to live a long time and I'm going to be able to live that time, not in a wheelchair, so I can enjoy that time with my kids and grandkids and great grandkids and their kids too. Kinsey said motivation was her daughter. She said, my daughter definitely, at the time I was a stay-at-home mom, I just kept telling myself, I don't want to just give up on myself. My daughter deserves more. 100%. That's what I'm trying to say. Like in our society, specifically American culture, we like to just say, well, it's about me and it's about what I want to do and my goals. And I'm saying you got to think about expand out beyond just yourself, because yes, this benefits you. And I'm not saying that you need to become that dude at Thanksgiving dinner with the Tupperware that's actually being a jerk, right? I'm not saying do that either. But I am saying that by you sticking with, so the ripple effect, I'll go back to using Naomi. The ripple effect of Naomi losing weight is every time we've gone to any family gathering, people have seen her, they've asked her about it, and they've gotten motivated to work out. There's a ripple effect, right? So she's benefiting our family, both her side of the family and my side, in a positive way, just because she decided to stick to her goals. Sean said, now Kinsey's going for a pro card. And Kinsey said, the pro card is selfish. Now I'm like, I've been working out for 9 years. I deserve this. Well, you say it's selfish, but think about who you're going to inspire by getting that pro card, especially when they hear your entire story. You know what I mean? Because anytime we see somebody quoting Anthony Hopkins in what was that show? Anthony Hopkins in golly, the one where they crashed in the mountains. Carlos, you know what I'm talking about, the movie where they crashed in the mountains and he had to like kind of guide them out, right? Anyway, he said, what one man can do, another man can do. If anybody knows what movie that is, Dustin, if you know what movie that is, it's Anthony Hopkins. The plane, they flew out there in Alaska, they crashed, and it's Anthony Hopkins' character, and then two other people. I think Alec Baldwin might have been one of the other actors. Yeah. So anybody who's watching who knows what movie that is, The Edge. Never mind, I remembered it. The Edge. He said, yeah. So anyway, so his quote was, "What one man can do, another man can do." And so I say that same thing. Like, people who see you get your pro card, Kinsey, are going to be motivated because they'll say, you know what, she's just like me. Maybe it's a stay-at-home mom. She's like, you know what, she's just like me. She lost 80 pounds. Now she's getting her pro card. Not only, it's not like, and to me, I think it's cool because you didn't lose 80 pounds and immediately go get your pro card, because that kind of thing is like, first of all, that'd be like phenomenal, but it's unattainable because most people aren't going to be able to do that. The fact is that you've been consistent for 9 years and now you're like, oh, well, I'm going to go get and you're continuing to challenge yourself. That's valuable. That's valuable. You're not resting on your laurels. It's kind of like when I see LL Cool J, the dude is like the same age as me. And I'm like, oh, this dude's been in shape. Like, there are no fat pictures of LL Cool J. Just thinking about that. He's in his 50s. There are no fat pictures of LL Cool J, and the dude got his picture taken all the time. Just think about that. Think of the level of dedication that takes. They're pro athletes. You can see fat pictures of them because they let themselves get out of shape. There are no fat pictures of LL Cool J. Can you say the same thing about yourself? What would it be like if there were no, from this moment forward, nobody could ever find a picture of you where you're out of shape because you're just that consistent? Imagine that. Letha said, longevity of life is enough to motivate me. My children range from ages 10 to 27. I want to be around for a long time. You got to spread like we do. Because our oldest son is 29. And then I told you, you know, our little girl is 10 years old. So yeah, I 100%. 100%. You want to be around to enjoy it. I don't want them to come visit me and I'm in bed. Nah. I want to visit them. You know what I'm saying? Let's go take a vacation together somewhere cool. Letha, thank you, Letha. Yes, The Edge. And Dustin said they fight a bear. Yeah, that's what he was talking about. He said, he was saying that Native American kids, I forgot what tribe he mentioned, but he said, yeah, they're part of their manhood rituals. They had to slap a bear. He said, we could do this. We can kill this bear. Carlos said The Edge. Yes, exactly. Thank you. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Well, favorite movies of all time, especially because Anthony Hopkins' character's name was Charles, and he's the person who is least likely to be like the hero. You expect him to be like, you know, maybe he's like the wise old man who gives advice, and he ends up being actually the hero. I love that movie. I love it. It's in my top 10. Top 10. I could watch it anytime it comes on. I can watch it. Even, you know, I can watch it. I love that movie. Heck, you see I'm here. I haven't watched it in a minute, and you see I'm able to quote from it. Highly recommend. That's actually a good one to watch on a treadmill too. I know it's been a minute since we've recommended movies for the treadmill. That's actually a good one to watch on a treadmill. I'm not going to spoil what happens. I'm just telling you it's a good one. So let's see here. So keep it going. Keep going. Let's see. I'm trying to see. There's somebody. Dustin, I want to hear from you. What is your motivation to keep going? And when you hit a point where, you know, also if there was a point when you wanted to quit, what made you not quit? I remember you said something about talking about how you it's a privilege to be able to work out. And I agree with that. I agree. It's a privilege. We need to honor that privilege. While I wait, let's do some mechanical stuff. Because look, there's only so much grit in your teeth and David Goggins you can do, okay? Shout out to David Goggins. At some point, you need to have, I think what falls down sometimes with people when they quit is they don't have strategies and techniques, right? That they can, in their toolbox, that they can draw on when they want to quit. So I want to make sure I talk about that now. So what do you do when motivation gets low and you don't want to go work out? Here are some of the things that have worked for me. Simple. Drink pre-workout. I got some pre-workout in here right now. I was drinking it because I did an hour and 10 minutes on the treadmill this morning before coming up here to do show prep. So drink pre-workout. That's simple. Music. Put on a song that motivates you or a playlist. It's having a good playlist for your workouts is underrated. I think that there's a time and place for training without music because you need to be able to train your willpower. But music is proven to have performance enhancing capabilities. So that workout playlist is a legit tool. Buy something for your gym. Seriously, that's one of the strategies that we used to do back when I first started my home gym. As we started discovering home gym equipment, you get something new for the gym and you get motivated to go and work out because you want to use it, right? Something else is that I use is go learn something. So I would go do a seminar. That's part of why I keep track of like I look at press releases and stuff, and I pay attention to different organizations that have certifications and they hold workshops, because sometimes going to do a workshop or a seminar or something like that, or do a certification, motivates you because you're around like-minded people, and it kind of just gets, and then learning something just gets the juices flowing, right? So do a seminar or workshop. Kind of related to it is change environments. Go train with somebody else, or bring somebody else in to train with you. We've had about 50 kids from our neighborhood come train in our home gym, in our garage gym. They were pretty much our son's kids. Some of them were training because they competed in wrestling. Some of them were trying out for the wrestling team, and some of them just wanted to work out with, like, it was just fun. Like, that's what they would do in the afternoons. The boys from the neighborhood and some of the girls would come over and they'd work out in our gym. I'm talking about we'd have a room full of kids training here. We ended up, I would say, we'd go do competitions with them. And all I charged them was, I told them that they had to go do community service projects with me, but I wouldn't charge them any money. Once a month, we'd have to do some sort of community service so that they were giving back. Well, having those kids around motivated me because I got to lead from the front, right? So they would come train and it would be during my workout time. So let's say it's bench press day. I wouldn't let them lift low reps for various reasons, but primarily because I wanted to help out the blood flow to their tendons and ligaments. But so, like, the winner was always the person who got the most quality reps of an exercise. So if I did, let's say 315 for 5, and they did 45 pounds for 20, they won, right? So that was one of the things that we did. Let's see, another one. Enter a competition. If you feel that your motivation is dropping, enter a competition. Number one, training for the competition. So, like, Kinsey is working on her pro card, right? She says she's working on a pro card. So training for a competition. It could be a powerlifting meet. It could be the garage gym competition. It could be anything. But I think that there's a benefit to signing up for a competition you have to go to, right? Because now that puts that pressure on you. Like, hey, I better hit I can't skip these days because when I get to the platform to compete in the powerlifting meet, or I show up for that triathlon, if I'm not ready, everybody's going to find out whether I trained or not really, really quick. All right. So sign up for competition. That's external motivation. Those are the things. So let me go. So once again, these are tools that I use when that have worked for me since I started. Actually, let's change that. These are tools that have worked for me since I started working out in 1993. Workout playlist, pre-workout, get a toy, something new for my gym, go do a seminar or workshop, learn something, change environments, just go train with somebody else or have other people come train with me, enter a competition. As a side note, I said pre-workout. I remember when y'all probably don't even remember this, but I remember when Jacked and Ultimate Orange came out. Yeah, I'm that old. I'm that old. All right, to remember when Ultimate Orange from Dan Duchesne, when he created Ultimate Orange, and I was in the magazines and I tried it. And I'm just gonna tell you as a side note, I didn't even drink soda or coffee at the time, and I went from that to drinking some Ultimate Orange. I vibrated for like 2 days. Okay, I was afraid I would never sleep again. So that was a milestone in my life. And what's worse is I was actually at a bench only meet. I was competing at a bench only meet, and I had learned. So here's a lesson: don't ever do multiple things. Don't change multiple variables at once. So I go up there, right, and they said, "Oh, here, drink this." Okay, hey, wrap your elbows. So Jesse Rogers, who founded Southern Powerlifting Federation, he was there, right? He wasn't competing, but he was just there. And I had seen him wrap his elbows. And I wasn't, now keep in mind, I wasn't competing in gear. I was still competing in raw. But at the time, there wasn't because other people were competing in gear in the meet. They were wrapping their elbows. I said, can I wrap my elbows? I said, sure. So I wrapped my elbows, first time ever, never trained it. And I drank Ultimate Orange. Had never had pre-workout of any kind in my life. I remember going to bench and the bar looked like the capital Z, the bar path. It was horrible, right? I thought I was going to die. But yeah, so it was, yes, I bombed out. And yes, it was entertaining for the people who were watching. It was embarrassing for me, entertaining for them. I I know I missed one. Okay, so Dustin said, circling back to the idea that if one person can do it, another person can, the banister effect is a phenomenon where breaking a long-held barrier inspires others, much like Roger Bannister first broke the sub 4-minute mile in 1954. Yeah. So people said it was impossible for a human being to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Then Roger Bannister did it. Next thing you know, everybody started doing it. Then it became like, oh, you mean it? You can't do it? Like people looking at you like, what's wrong with you that you can't do it? But before Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile barrier, nobody could do it. So I love that you brought that up because it goes back to, again, Kinsey, the fact that you started out 80 pounds overweight, you lost 80 pounds, you kept it off, stayed dedicated, you were coaching people yourself, and now you're going for your pro card in physique competition is a testimony, is something that somebody else can see. You know, they say success leaves clues. You can follow the footprints of successful people and you arrive somewhere around where they are. You're leaving footprints for people to follow. You're blazing. That's literally what trailblazing is. You know, y'all probably know this, but trailblazing basically is like the guy who's in front. You're going through the woods and you're cutting the branches out of the way and the obstacles out of the path. And you're navigating around things that would trip people up in the, you know, whatever. You're showing people which way to go. So all they got to do is follow you, and their path is going to be easier because you blazed a trail in front of them, and that's what you're doing. Let's see here. Hey, Ashley, there you go. What's up? So I just finished talking about you and your dad for like the last 10 minutes. All good things. Shout out to you. Shout out to your dad. 332. Dustin said, I believe decades from now, someone will deadlift 1 ton and break that barrier. That's entirely possible. Heck, I remember when Andy Bolton deadlifted 1,000. Heck, my powerlifting coach is Steve Goggins. And I remember, well, I wasn't into powerlifting at the time, but I remember seeing his video where he squatted 1102 and he had just done 10 something. Yes, that's 1,102 pounds, right? And what's funny about that is, so then later on, most of y'all probably don't know this, but Steve worked out with Ronnie Coleman from time to time. And Ronnie Coleman is hurt today because he tried to keep up with Steve. Because Ronnie Coleman, you look at him, he looks like he should be the stronger guy. Steve was legit. But after Steve did that, you started seeing more people breaking that barrier, right? So I remember Zahir Kudayev, I interviewed him, and he said he wanted to hit that barrier, but he wanted to do it raw. You know, is it you inspire other people with your accomplishments? And again, I hate the fact that this day is called Quitter's Day. I found out about this yesterday, and I immediately changed what I was going to talk about for this hour. Because I was like, this is the most revolting, repulsive thing to me, that we've accepted the fact that people quit their New Year's resolutions by the second Friday in January to the point where we call it Quitter's Day. I hate that. I hate that. I don't know what I can do, but I know I can't do nothing. So if this video, right now, this segment of the episode is helping even one person, is worth the hour of talking about it. Dustin said he's also motivated because friends like Jared sending me lifting videos of them hitting big numbers motivates me. I'm naturally competitive, but I love seeing others' progress as well. It only makes me want to push harder. 100%. Kinsey said, I'm glad I caught the tail end of Jack 3D. Dude, Jack was crazy. All right. That was a life-changing. It's like, you think I would have learned my lesson from Ultimate Orange, but I didn't. So Jack 3D it was. Life-changing. Life-changing. All right. So I appreciate you guys chiming in on this topic. If you're watching on replay, shout out to the replay gang. Do me a favor, keep on putting your comments in your replies about what keeps you going, what keeps you your motivation high. In fact, what keeps you going when the motivation starts to go down? Like, what makes you not give up on your fitness goals? Keep putting those in the comments. We are going to add LinkedIn now to the stream. And then we are going to add our guest, Nick from Big Benchas. And let's go ahead and add LinkedIn now. All right. So it is now 7:55 in the morning. Shout out to those of you in the Mountain Time Zone who are just now getting up. And shout out to all of you who just joined us from LinkedIn. Whether you're getting up and getting ready to crush a workout, or you are, getting ready to head out to your office or whatever, we appreciate you being here. I'm John Greaves III. I'm the co-founder of Garage in Life. Thank you so much for choosing to spend the final hour of the show with us. If you are watching on LinkedIn, by the way, make sure you're following our LinkedIn show page, Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life, so you don't miss a single one of these episodes. Once a week, I interview the most influential people across the home gym community, the people who do the things that make the home gym community work, that influence the directions that we go in. So it's the equipment manufacturers, the home gym owners, the content creators, and in the case of my next guest, the coaches who coach us to do the things we love doing without falling apart, dying, or getting discouraged because we don't make any progress. So my next guest is Nick, and I've been here taking scientific wild guesses with his last name, and here we go. No guts, no glory. We're doing it again. Nick Benarakis, the head coach at Big Benchas, which is a coaching service that's been providing coaching for competitive powerlifters since 2016. Big Benchas works with people both in person through team members that happen to be local to you, as well as online with lifters from across the world. Nick has helped more than 500 powerlifters hit new PRs, gain confidence in their lifts, and avoid injury. So I cannot wait to hear from him. Nick, are you ready? He said he's ready. All right. Well, if he's ready, I am ready. Let's go ahead and bring him on in. Our guest of the day, Nick from Big Benchas. Come on in.
What is going on?
What's up?
Thank you for having me, John. I love what you got going on here.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for getting up way too early.
Absolutely.
Dude, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Love
man.
that name.
It's dude. So when we first started the show, first of all, everybody told me I was crazy. They said you're not gonna be able to get people to talk about gym equipment for 1 hour, much less 3. I said you just stand by. To quote one of my friends, hide and watch. All right, and I think it kind of goes along with the first thing I wanted to say to you, actually, which is congratulations, because I saw your Instagram post, and in fact, let me see if I can pull it up here. Your Instagram post where you were talking about your journey, and it was I'm trying to remember. I saw where you said how many views you had on this one video, but and I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen here so people can see what I'm talking about. But how many subscribers did you have on YouTube at the time that this video that had, let's see, you had 698 views on the video in 2012. Look at this, no beard.
Yeah. So that was my first YouTube video I ever sat down to do.
Wow.
And boy, was I nervous as hell. There was a few people at the time, like Barthel Fitness and Nick Wright, and there was a few people doing it that really stood out. Yeah. And I looked up to them in the social media thing. It's all kind of new still, and and I sat down and I just hope this goes off well, but I was nervous as hell. I didn't know what I was going to talk about, and boy, how have things changed, right?
What's so funny is you say that, but the first thing I thought, so I don't remember what my first YouTube video was, but I remember, because it was recorded and I uploaded it, but I remember not knowing if the camera was on. So like we had to edit off like the first part, like with me just saying, "Is it on? Are you ready? Should I go? Can you hear me? Is it?" Because I was just worthless, man. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and hit this. So now you are over 121,000 followers on Instagram. You got 18,000 subscribers, 18.5 thousand subscribers plus on YouTube. And that's just a testament to the fact that you just didn't stop. You kept on going. So before we dive into the reason, why you're actually here, aside from beard growth, what would you say is like have been some of the things that helped you become successful on, let's just say, not just YouTube, but just in general?
In general,
yeah, regardless of platform.
Probably the consistency aspect. I know a lot of coaches who start off and they have that real early fire, and they just, for some reason, they'll stop posting. They'll get down on themselves if they drop some clientele or whatever have you, and then they just fall off. There's going to be a lot of bumps in the road. There's been times, whether it's in coaching or social media or whatever, that I certainly felt down and had some bumps in the road for whatever reason, but you just got to keep doing the thing. You can't stop doing the thing, Yep.
Yeah, I muted myself so I wouldn't interrupt you talking. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Hold on a second here. There you go. Now you're muted. Can you hear me? So you can hear me, right? So nod your head if you can hear me. Okay. So I cannot hear you because you are muted. So there you go. I think that's you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So somehow or other we managed to mute each other.
My headphones kick out every now and then on me, I think. So I'm just gonna go.
Okay. Hey, okay, hey, no problem. Hey, improvise, adapt, overcome. I promise it works. It works. It's worked in the past. It'll work today. So, but yeah. So what you were saying is like, sometimes you have like coaches who like they'll get discouraged, but what they'll say is, "I'm taking a social media break," or "I'm detoxing." So, and okay, that's fine. But I also say, well, if you are, and I realize you can't pour from an empty cup, you got to like take care of yourself first. I get it. But I also say, like, if you find yourself consistently having to take social media breaks, you're probably doing social media wrong because it's draining you. You may need to maybe you need to find a system where you delegate some of that to somebody who's not affected by it as much, or figure out something, because nothing that you do in the course of helping other people should be detrimental to you. You know what I mean? If I see somebody starving, I'm not going to cut off my arm and cook it so they can eat it. You feel free to use that as an example. That's an original. I know because I just made it up.
But that's, if you're not posting on social media, you don't have a presence, especially in today's world.
Yep. Yeah, there are people who go to your social media before they go to your website.
Yeah, that's how today works now.
Yeah.
Everything, you just got to keep that going. You can't just stop.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So where's your microphone, by the way?
Where's my microphone? Is it still attached to this?
Yeah, I guess so. Because every time you move, I can hear your clothing rustling, which is interesting. Okay. Which is all right. If you can't fix it, it's okay.
I can. Now we're a little bit better, probably, right?
Oh man, that sounds beautiful. Look at that.
Yes.
You even sound closer. All right. So yeah,
patch it everywhere, my friend. Now we're good.
We're good now. So what advice, because we have a few coaches watching, what advice would you give to training-based content creators? So basically people who make content about training and improving your training and that kind of thing. What advice would you give them about identifying the best platform for them and finding and building a tribe? Because you tried YouTube first and you're still there, but you obviously had the most success on Instagram. So how would you advise somebody who's trying to figure out where they need to be to get established?
So every platform has its own unique flavor. Like YouTube, for example, that's very evergreen. Like people still go back and watch videos from 2016, 2017. So it's much more of a long-term play. Or, if you're down to take the time to do edits and really stay up with it, then you could find a lot of success probably early on too. But you got to find what you enjoy doing. YouTube's going to be much more long form. So if that's more your flavor, like I have a coach on my team who he just can't get anything under 30 seconds or 60 seconds. He can, but it pains him. He much prefers long form type stuff where he can have more of a discussion about the topic. And I started finding when I transitioned from the YouTube stuff, which my YouTubes were never really super long form anyways. It wasn't like I was doing 15, 20-minute videos, nothing like that. But I would have like 3, 5, 7-minute videos at the tops. And when I transitioned over doing more reels, because they were just popping off, especially at the time, it was like 20, it might have been 2020, 2021, started doing more heavily the reels when that came out. I like to keep things simple as possible. And I think that's why people resonate with my content on Instagram. And that's when things really started taking off more, because I keep things simple. I don't confuse people with fancy lingo, or I don't get into so much detail that they lose attention in the first 10 seconds. I try to catch people's attention, give the information that's going to help them, leave it at that. So I think you just have to try different things and kind of find your flavor, and then what platform is really suitable for you there. That makes sense.
Oh, hey, 100%. So yeah, I think that's good. And so you guys who are watching, who are coaches, who are trying to grow your channels, you have young channels. If you have any questions about, by the way, you said nobody calls you Nick anymore. All right. So did they call you Coach Ben? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Ben, Coach Ben. Yeah.
Ben,
no,
okay.
Most of my family calls me Nick.
Okay. So it was funny because I sent the email out just to let you guys know some behind the scenes stuff. So I sent the email out and I thought his name was Ben. So I said, hey, Ben, right? And then I was like, wait a minute, who's this Nick guy? What kind of alias is this? So I said, so what is it, Nick? Is it Ben? All right, we'll go with Ben. All right. So
the last name pronunciation, by the way.
I did, man. Okay. Look at it. Shout out to me. All right. I was like, I was convinced I said it wrong because I wasn't sure about the pronunciation of the IS. I didn't know if it was
Benarachis. Yeah.
Right. I didn't know if it was Benarakis or Benarakis. So I was like, let's just take a stab at it. But yeah, so if you guys are watching, I know some of you guys are coaches and you have some younger channels. You're thinking about what your content should be. If you have any questions for Ben, go ahead and throw them in the chat. But we're also gonna definitely talk about bench pressing because I've got people, including my guy Isaac, who said he's actually one of your former clients. But Isaac told me he said he is coming back. He needs help because and I'm gonna read this text message to you because he said so. Isaac is getting married. Shout out to you, Isaac, by the way.
Congrats.
My condolences to your fiance. Yeah, he said he is trying to. So he PR'd, but he wants to. He said Nick has to help my 2026 resolution is 3 plates before 30. And he said he wants to do it at his wedding, which is 3 days before his birthday. So I really need this. So he sent some videos. So we're going to critique them later on. We'll pull them up and let you kind of do some critique and see if you can help Isaac out.
Sure. A lot of milestones there.
Oh yeah. I'm like, and I hope your fiance is aware of this bench press plan. Because if she's not, make sure you video this. I want to see it. So anyway, man, you've seen a lot of bench pressing both on and off the platform, in person, in videos. What's been the most consistent trend you've seen with people who struggle to build a big bench?
I mean, there's a lot of routes I could take with that. I'd say just inconsistent practice. I think when it comes to the bench, like when we compare it to squat forces you to get tight. Like when you stand up with that weight, you have no choice but to get tight when you're descending with that weight. Deadlift's a little bit of a different beast too. You got to kind of find that tension prior to the pull. There's no eccentric phase. When it comes to the bench press, you're just lying on the bench. So people don't realize how much technique goes into the bench. It's probably the most technical lift in my opinion, but it's the hardest to get down because just the nature of the loading. Like you could bench press and not have your legs in play. You don't have to have your back tight. You could do that. Squat. You can't do that.
Right,
Like,
right.
You're gonna be forced to create tension.
Yeah.
It's hard to put it into practice without knowing exactly what you're trying to practice. And what I find when I'm coaching lifters is they just don't bring enough intensity to all those elements, like how they're creating leg drive, how they're packing their shoulders, that intensity element to what they're doing. They're just not uncomfortable enough. So that's like the common thing that I see when I'm coaching lifters is that what they're doing, they might have an idea of what they're looking to achieve. They're just not doing it near intense enough.
Do you think it's because like the bench press is like America's favorite lift? So you see kids do it in high school. You see football coaches teach it wrong because all they care about is they're like, hey, I'm the strength coach. And what I need you guys to be hitting PRs because my job depends on this. I need to get this extra stipend. And if y'all don't get stronger, I don't get paid. And then there's also people who bench press for building their chest for bodybuilding. And then you got people who bench press to compete in powerlifting. And then there's people who use bench as an accessory movement for some other strength sport. So to me, that's one of the things that makes it so confusing because you've got all these people who think they know what a bench looks like.
Yes.
Is that part of the problem? Yeah.
Okay. Yes, 100%. That's a great way to put it because there's benching for all different types of disciplines. A bodybuilder is going to bench differently than a powerlifter, is going to bench differently than an athlete. And they should perform the lift a little bit differently depending their goals. So when you're talking about specifically for powerlifting, which is what I deal in, there's a lot of nuance because that is the sport itself. It's not to get stronger for something or to grow muscle. It's a means to put the most weight on the bar.
Right.
So that's where it's very differing. And I think that creates overall confusion. Because, for example, like I'm noticing my Facebook page is much more.
It's a wild place.
Much more lifters who are just casual, gym goers, or it's not the powerlifting scene. Where my Instagram is much more the powerlifting scene for some reason, but you'll see comments all the time like, "Why do this?" or "This doesn't make any." sense.
They talk about, there's not enough range of motion. Why are you arched? Yeah,
all of that. But yeah, you have to tailor the bench depending on your goals for sure.
Yeah, and I think like what I say to people is the difference between benching like just in the gym, gym bro, and benching for powerlifting meet is like going out and playing catch, throwing a football around in the backyard just for fun. And then somebody training you to do it with a helmet and pads on while somebody else is about to run into you and try to spear you like Goldberg. There's a difference. And you got to be able to do it on command, and run routes and all that. So it's kind of like learning to do it as a sport. So you guys make sure that you guys check out at Big Benchas on Instagram so you can see all the stuff from Ben. Make sure you guys are following him as well.
John, are you I like the football analogy there. Are you a Commanders fan? I see the Washington behind you.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. You got this. You see this right here?
Oh, the Bulldogs. Yeah, I see it. Old Redskins. Yeah.
That's it, man. Nice. I've been a fan since 1982. I'm kind of like a bandwagon, but I'm a long bandwagon. So I'm originally from West Africa, so we didn't do American football. We came over here. I didn't even know what that was. First of all, I don't understand why it's football, but you carry it, right? Yeah. In your hands. And then I was in Maryland, and the Redskins went to the Super Bowl that year, and they won. So first of all, I'm getting my bearings. I had been in America. I got here in 1980, but I'm just saying, like 1981, they went like 0-5. Joe Gibbs had just got there, and then it was like, what's going on here? But then they started to get good, and I'm noticing people getting excited. And then, so you say, okay, yeah, sure, I'll watch it, because then you get to school, everybody else is talking about the game, and you didn't watch it. Now you're left out. So I started watching it. I said, oh, this is actually kind of cool. And so I've been a fan since 1982 because they actually played the Super Bowl in 1982. So
that's awesome. Yeah, it's electric when the team's doing well.
Ooh, oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. So let's talk about a technique thing, and then we're gonna dive into the first technique video. In fact, we'll do Isaac as the first technique video. So the question I've always wondered about is bar path. So and this is what I mean. So I don't have room to turn sideways, but basically I heard 3 different things about bar path. One is when you're benching, you should bring the bar, you come out and you bring the bar down to your chest, and then you press up kind of in an arc, and the bar ends up kind of somewhere over your face. Okay, that's one. Another one is you bring the bar down to your sternum. The other one, you come down to your sternum as well. But you come down to your sternum, and then you kind of come up in like a J pattern, and then press up. And then the last one is you just need to press it straight, like kind of like almost like a decline bench, because you're arched up and you kind of press it like that way, right?
Yeah.
The only thing I know, and I think that the conflicting information is part of why you see people have like the erratic bar path, because you kind of have all that in your head and you don't really know. I mean, until you get to a certain amount of weight on the bar, anything works. And so then you kind of like, well, I don't know, where's the bar supposed to go? Where is it supposed to be, right? So what would you say as far as bar path goes in terms of your opinion?
Yeah, so that's a great one. So bar path is not something that I heavily coach or have people think about. In fact, I think you should stop thinking about how you're performing the bar path. Reason being is where you're going to land in your descent really comes down to like what type of grip are you taking to the bar, because you're going to want to stay in a stacked position. That's the most important thing. So if you're closer grip, yeah, you're going to touch lower, because if you touch higher, then you're already falling towards your face, essentially. If you're wider, you're going to have a higher touch point. So a lot of where you're going to descend and touch to is already kind of predetermined. And then in terms of the press back, well, you just need to make sure you get back over your shoulder blades to where you started. Mm-hmm. So that bar path is going to be influenced by those things. And then also just what your body is going to try to leverage as a strong suit. So if you've just built up pecs throughout your time performing the lift, and you've always been a big chest bencher, and that's your primary mover of the weight versus, let's say, triceps or something, that's going to change things too. Because even if you touch low, but your body wants to leverage using the pecs to press the weight, then yeah, you're going to have this drift back and press up, which is more like your J curve. If you're more of a tricep dominant presser, then you're probably going to have more of just that natural arch back. So that's where it's going to look a little bit different just based on the muscle groups that you built up over time. And then the other thing too is in regards to pressing straight up. Well, no one can actually press straight up unless you're benching really wide and touching high, because otherwise you're going to end up with the weight out in front of you. But I like that as just a cue, because of the importance is anchoring the scaps, which is you brought up here. And I talk about anchoring into scap depression. And that was a video that you were showing there. Yeah. Was, no matter what grip you're taking, whatever bar path you're thinking about, whatever's going on, you need to make sure that your scaps remain drawn down towards your hips.
Okay.
You always want to be anchored into that position. So that's
like the cue where they say put them in your back pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's where the whole press the bar away from you in a straight line, that's where it helps you think about anchoring the scap, especially if you have a big arch.
Okay. So I wanted to go ahead and pull this up because this is an exercise or a drill that you coach people to use so that they can, I think what, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're saying when you're saying like stop the bar from drifting over your face is stop the bar from being out of control, just going where it wants. Like you need to be in control of the bar, right? And so this drill is good for this. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah. So some will have more of a natural drift, but it's all controlled motion. This is when you have uncontrolled drift to where your scaps are coming out of position.
Yeah. Gotcha. Like you drink Ultimate Orange for the first time and wrap your elbows for some strange reason.
I heard you talk about that. I don't know the Ultimate Orange. I know Jack 3D though. When was Ultimate Orange?
So Dan Duchesne came up with this stuff. This is the first pre-workout. Back he was working for a magazine called Muscle Media 2000. And Dan Duchesne, for people, rest in peace, Dan Duchesne, who don't know who he was. So the guy went to prison for steroids. And while in there, because he was bored, he started coming up with different formulations for ways to like fire, to use caffeine as an ergogenic. And he comes out, and I don't really know exactly everything that was in Ultimate Orange originally. I do know that most of the substances that were in Ultimate Orange have been banned, are now banned. All right. But I remember drinking some, and I thought I was never going to fall asleep again. I mean, that was a lot. In fact, let's go with it. So not only did I drink this stuff, and I wasn't consuming caffeine at the time, right? Because I was competing in kickboxing, and so like pretty much water and juice and things like that was what I was drinking, right? But also, I'm at this powerlifting meet with guys who are like the guys. They're like in the 198, 242s or whatever. So they gave me what they mixed up for themselves. I was like 175 pounds. So I drank this stuff, and I'm lucky. I think that's where my hair loss started. I'll just tell you, it was horrible. Anyway, it was crazy, man. All right, so let's go ahead and let's pull up this first video here. This is from Isaac, and make sure I can find it. Let's see here.
Is that how you say your name, Isaac? I thought it was Isaac. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. So he told me the thing, and it was like a he told me that because I was going to interview him, and I said, you know, what's your name? And then he said it was Isaac, and I said, and really his last name is what got, you know, the problem. I was like, how do you say your last name? I said, no, I said, how do you say your name? And he said Isaac Ibocha. I said, say what now? And yeah, so yeah, I was like, okay. So yeah, that was it. So let's see, is this it right here? No, that's not it. Hang on. Let's see if I can pull this down here. There it is. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so. All right, so sound is off and it's on. And all right, so let me back it up a little bit so you can start from scratch. Can you? Okay, so can you see see okay?
Yeah, I'm actually zooming in on my end so I can see.
All right, so everybody, if you're watching, go ahead. You can see the video and you can also listen to the cue. So here we go. So I'm not sure if this is his first set, second set, or what, but here we go. Okay.
So leveraging off the safeties there. Yeah, so I would say the unrack, if you went back to the unrack, that looked a little jerky to me.
Okay.
So why don't we play that again?
Let me back up a little bit.
So
I think those uprights might be adjustable. So you think they might need to come down a little bit? Because it looks like you got hung up on the lip a little bit.
We'll play it again, but what I would recommend anyone who wears lifters when they bench, the only reason I would wear lifters when you bench is if you have a hard time touching the floor, because all they're going to do is make you more prone to lifting your butt off the bench.
Okay.
Gives you a little bit more height to actually glute bridge off. So I would just totally get rid of those, and you'll have a more solid connection to the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, let's play this one. Take a look. I love the hair. Look at the bun.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's a wild man. I'm gonna just get him scrunchies for his hair for Christmas next time.
See, that's better because you have a little bit more weight to leverage with.
Yeah,
you want that bar just to barely clear those J hooks, ideally, for anyone listening. You want to think when the unrack process, you want to be thinking press your body away from the bar.
Okay.
And then this is also an example with Isaac. Isaac, is it?
Yeah.
This is an example where I wouldn't use like a bend the bar cue. You can see he's already well tucked with the position he's benching in. So sometimes when you're already in that type of position, bend the bar is not the greatest cue because it'll lead to just more over tucking.
With your elbows. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I'd prefer to have him focus on spreading the bar and just trying to pull his chest through to meet the bar.
I see that he's using, I can tell that you coach him because he's using your technique where you do the you bridge up to get the bar.
Yes. Yeah, he was a part of our coaching group for some time there, and you could see those elements already at play for sure. But this looks solid. I mean, this is really solid benching. Keep that leg drive in play there. So leg drive is something that I teach. You never lose it. Usually where I see leg drive get lost is either someone doesn't have it from the start, and leg drive is such a powerful thing for your setup, really being able to push back onto your traps. But also losing it on the press itself. Like people give up on that leg drive a little bit too early and they kind of coast through the rest of the lift. Got to keep that leg drive intact, pushing as hard as possible through the finish of the lift.
This looks like his PR. So I know that, I don't know what your feelings are about this, but I know that Matt Winning says that he likes to see people when they are at the point where the weight's really heavy, because that's where the technique breaks down.
Yeah.
So let's see.
More programming nuance with that. Yeah.
So yeah, I think let's back up a little bit. Okay, so I think this is his PR. All right. Shout out to Iron Bull Strength. That's where he works, for those of you who are not aware. I told him this was home gym adjacent because it's Iron Bull Strength, so I would allow it.
Yeah, so I mean, this is you don't see a ton of breakdown here. So, I always talk about having good fails as well. A good fail, in my opinion, is when everything stays intact. You're not seeing the scaps glide out of position. You're not seeing an arm wing out. You're just seeing the bar slow down and come to a stop, and you just can't press through it. Obviously, he got it there, but I really didn't see a ton falling apart on him. It's hard to tell that angle exactly, but unless he mentions otherwise, something coming out of position, I thought that was a really nice top set there.
So basically, keep doing what you're doing. No, you said something else. Oh yeah, stop wearing the lifters.
Stop wearing the lifters for sure. I think that would be a very helpful thing. Yep.
All right. And he said he doesn't. He also, yes, you said that you don't care how people say your name as long as you know that we're talking to you. But I told you I don't like saying people's names incorrectly because people always say my name wrong for some strange reason. I think my name is easy.
Well, how do you pronounce your name?
It's Greaves, but people say Graves, and just all kinds of things. I'm like, really? I'm like, it's so easy. And he says, supposedly, now she's not here to vouch for this, but he said that his fiance is aware. She's happy, and it was her idea for the wedding. Like, okay, yeah, sure, okay. I mean, I gotta believe you, man. You're the only one here, so okay. All right.
Only bench, my friend. Yeah, I'd keep doing what you're doing. I'm not sure exactly what you have set up for training now. That's a whole other discussion, but that looks good for a top set, I think.
Okay. All right, so now let's go to my guy Sean. Sean has sent in one. He's with Colonial Barbell YouTube channel, so shout out to Sean. All right, so I've fast forwarded a little bit, so we're already at the point where he's sitting down on the bench, and see right here, and then we'll go back to the questions I sent you. Now you hold on here. So can you see?
Yep.
Okay, so here we go. So that's a RitFit bench, by the way. That bench, it's got decent grip. I'll just go ahead and throw that in there. So it's got decent grip. It's not the grippiest bench I've ever used, but it's got decent amounts of grip. All right. All right. So here we go.
All right, so he's going. This is like and we got to move the feet here. All right, so I categorize setup into a couple different categories. You're either doing like a feet first setup or a shoulders first setup.
Okay.
Which means that you're either making the shoulders your main anchor and then positioning your feet, or you're positioning your feet as the main anchor and then planting the shoulders. So this was almost like a little blend. I thought he was going to leave his feet there and then just plant, but then he started shuffling the feet. So what I would do, my friend, first off, I think you just got to get way further back to the rack. I don't have the whole picture here, but this looks like a long carry out to me.
Okay.
You could probably condense that down quite a bit and set up further back. And what I would do is, since you're already utilizing this setup style, this leg drive style, there's nothing wrong with doing this leg drive style. I would just go to setting the feet first. They stay planted. And then I'd use the barbell as leverage. You don't really have anything else you can use. There's no safeties or nothing there. So I would plant the feet, use the barbell to pull yourself up and leverage into that arch, plant the traps, and then you can start applying leg drive just to stay packed on top of that. So I'd probably change some things up there.
So that bench is a little over 17 inches high. So he's a pretty taller guy. Would you, if he wasn't used to benching this way with where his feet are, would you advise him to do the thing you talk about with spreading your legs out? You know what I'm talking about with a little bit?
Yeah. So that's another way you could go approach it.
And actually, let me. So I'm gonna stop sharing this, and instead, I'm going to pull up the video from your Instagram where you're showing it, so people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
With the spreading the leg out, and then you can. You got a couple of. Well, I'm looking at videos where you're doing it. I'm looking for the video where you're actually explaining how to do it.
I think a lot of people default into doing the toes back setup when they have a hard time keeping their butt planted, but you don't necessarily have to default to that, because you could do that. What I'll show, probably what the video you're bringing up, you could go to a wide foot placement. The key is that you're driving your hips open, whether you're tall or short, whatever. It certainly helps when you're a bit shorter because you're already in a lot of hip extension.
Right.
But as long as you're driving your hips open and pushing back on the bench and have the discipline to own that, that's the tough thing, is our body's always going to try to find the best leverage to lift the weight once we get into trouble. And that's going to be trying to create a decline. That's going to be our stronger position. So it's fighting that urge when things get heavy. But yeah, you can certainly make that work for sure.
Okay. All right. So now let's go back to what we were showing with Sean's bench right here. All right. So on it a little bit. Okay. So start from further back, you said.
Yeah, further back for sure. I would take more time on just taking the barbell out and getting settled with it, because it seems like you're pretty quick to just jump into the press itself. And one thing that I coach with my athletes, take 5 seconds before you do anything with that bar. Take that bar out. Make sure you really get that scap depression. Make sure that's fully there. Squeeze the back as hard as you can. Make sure you can take that bar out a little bit further typically when you do those things. So your shoulder blade's coming down to the hips. So take time to get that bar a little further out, and wait 5 seconds. It's not going to exhaust you if you're doing that correctly, because you're going to learn how to properly wedge against the bench.
Okay.
So that's one of the most impactful training tools I can give anyone. I tell our athletes to do that all the time. 5 seconds before you start on the bench.
Okay, so the next guy here, we got my guy Carlos, who is watching right now. Now, I'm not okay, so hang on a second here. So first of all, Carlos just subscribed to you. So shout out to that.
Appreciate it.
All right, and so yeah, we're coming to you next, Carlos. But before we do that, Sean from Colonial Barbell wanted to clarify what you said. So he says, scoot back and put the bar past my eyes. That was the lifter who we just saw.
Yep. Yeah. So typically, most people are going to be eyes behind the bar.
Okay.
And you certainly have a lot of room. Like, you're traveling a good distance, but you're not truly all the way out that you could be yet. So that's why I recommend hold that barbell there and just get used to really driving that scaps down into depression. And that bar should come out more as a result. So a lot of people don't make that switch because they feel like they're going to hit the rack, which is probably true if you're still leaving the barbell higher up. If you get it positioned over your scaps more, now you have all this more clearance with it too, and you're more efficient with that unrack.
Gotcha. All right. And yeah, Sean said he's 6'4". I could tell just because I happen to know the height of the bench because I have one, and then and how much the angle of his legs. I said, oh, he's tall. Yeah, I could just tell right away.
I knew that right away. Yep.
All right. So 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 he says thank you. Okay.
Absolutely, my friend. Thanks for the video there.
All right. So now let's go check out Carlos. All right. Make sure I'm in the right place, and then we'll go back to the questions. I've got a few more. We got one from my guy Harrison, but all right. So this is Carlos. So
this is a sweet setup here. So I imagine a lot of people following this channel have some cool home gym setups, huh?
Oh man, there are people with setups that put mine to shame, right? Yeah. So Carlos actually did a review of this Mikolo rack for our YouTube channel, but he's a huge fan of it.
Nice.
So let me back up a little bit to where he's sitting down. All right, and here we go. Works out at like 4 a.m.
Wow. Actually,
a fair amount of people who watch this show are working out while they're watching.
Already up watching the channel, right?
Oh yeah.
Cool. So, do we have any background context on what Carlos is training for?
So Carlos is watching right now, but so Charles, in fact, that's him right there. So Carlos, if you want to chime in, that's cool. But as far as I know, he's just training for general fitness. So you see, like he doesn't touch the bar to his chest. I don't know if that's preference or because of injury or he's got something specific he wants to do or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he does not compete in powerlifting. I'll say that.
Okay,
All right.
yeah, the context is important because in terms of powerlifting, there's a lot we could optimize here.
Yeah.
But in terms of just general fitness,
yeah,
then
and he wants to bench more. So
yeah, of course. So yeah, I guess the first thing is just addressing not touching chest. That's not a big deal if your goals, if you're in a powerlifting meet, you have to touch your chest. But if not, then you can go to a safe range for you. So again, I don't know context of potential shoulder injuries over time, or if this just feels better for you. But yeah,
just this a fan of Spoto.
Yeah, so this is fine. Even if this is Spoto press, this is well done. I like the stack position. That's solid. In terms of the setup, I always say no matter if it's powerlifting or if it's general fitness or if you're an athlete, how you're setting up and applying leg drive, that can be pretty universal. So what I would tell you there, Carlos, is try to put as much pressure as you can more towards your neck, I say, which usually puts you at your upper traps. So I would use a simple setup process. I just call it like a bend slide process. So I'd get your hands set to the bar. Just make sure that you're packed in with your shoulders. So we're trying to squeeze as hard as we can. And then we're using our leg drive to slide back on the bench and hopefully have some good grip there to where when you slide back on the bench, everything's getting pulled underneath you. And you're maintaining that leg drive the entire time. Because that's going to improve your positioning a ton and offer so much more stability to what you're doing.
Nice. He said, I'm just an old. First of all, you're younger than me, Carlos. All right. He's like a month younger than me. He's 50. We're both 52.
That's impressive.
That's impressive. You got another subscriber. Fit Shawno says new benches subscriber. Love the tips. Awesome. I appreciate that, man. So let's finish Carlos's thing right here, and then we'll go back to the questions. And like I said, I've got a couple more that people have shared with me. That's not it. Yeah, there it is. All right. So I think let's back up. Okay. One thing I say, I can't really tell, but I like the fact that he doesn't move his feet around a whole lot.
Yeah, no, that looks solid. I figured there'd be a little bit more dancing around there, but yeah, it looks like you have some pretty good leg drive intact there the entire time, Carlos.
Nice.
The next thing that I could potentially offer to you, just in regards to the grip, like it's a good opportunity maybe to bring up how I like to grip the barbell. It's kind
of yeah, I'll pull that up. Go ahead, you can start explaining it.
It's a combination between like a false grip and your normal standard grip where you're really just bearing down on the bar. So what I found to be very successful for me is the benefit of the false grip is that you're able to have a little bit more freedom of shoulder rotation there. So it typically feels a lot better to people because they don't have to wrap their thumb around the bar. Right? They have a little bit more freedom to rotate at the shoulder. They're not stuck in position as much. And the bar easily placed at the bottom of the hand. In fact, with a false grip, you can't really leave the bar high because you're going to notice that it doesn't feel great right away. So false grip's awesome for that. You just can't really use it in a powerlifting federation typically. Some federations are fine with it. Some you can't. So what I found to do and what I actually really love the combination of is just dipping that thumb around the bar slightly. So actually leaving it out purposefully. Because what you lack with the false grip is you don't have the ability to torque into the bar. So that whole spread the bar, bend the bar concepts to create tension and tightness that we talk about, you can't really do that false grip.
Okay. Right?
Because the bar would just shift around. You don't have anything to anchor down. So if you just take the thumb and dip it around the bar versus really crunch down, when you start crunching down, then you see it creates even more rotation. All right. You could get that thumb around and you have an anchor point that you can apply bend to the bar, create some tension to the bar.
and it's almost like a false grip. So that's how I like to.
I think you said your pinky and your ring finger are holding the bar, and your index finger and your middle finger are kind of floating. I think you said. I was trying to find the video where you were talking about that.
So that's the important thing, is that you crunch down with the pinky and the index, because that's kind of the bulldog grip. So if you invert your hand a little bit to get that bar placed lower, you want it right over the thumb meat, right at the bottom side of the hand. That's a good low bar placement there. When you can see when I squeeze with the index in the middle, it's almost repositioned me a little bit.
Gotcha.
So I'm able to keep that bar a little bit lower when I'm just thinking about squeezing here. And these fingers aren't really applying a ton of pressure to the bar. They're just kind of hanging out there. And then I have that thumb as an anchor.
Gotcha. All right. So let's talk about bending the bar, because you said it a couple of times. Can you demonstrate? So when I hear bending the bar, right, the thing that used to confuse me, because people would demonstrate it in the air, right? And so they're doing this. Right? Like, okay, well, are you saying bend it like this? Or are you saying bend it like this? You know what I mean? Like bend it like that. Like, what are you talking about, man? So go ahead, demonstrate in the air. I'm going to give you the solo shot so you can kind of demonstrate it. And then I want you to also talk about the fact that you don't need to keep it bent the entire time, because that's not something that, to be honest with you, I hadn't heard anybody emphasize that until I saw you say it in your video. So go ahead. Here you go.
Yeah, so bend the bar is oftentimes a cue that gets thrown around quite often for tension, tightness to the barbell. But most people, I find in my experience coaching people in person too, and I'll see them apply that tension, it's 50-50. They're not sure exactly, like you said, how should I be bending this bar? And a lot of times they're trying to kind of break that bar over their body, when in reality you want to bend the ends more towards your feet. So I think of it as, if you have a pole extending from your chest, you're trying to wrap around that pole. And that's going to actually activate your lats and create back tightness there. But then it's equally important that when you go and press that bar, that you almost redirect that pressure. So if we have that pinky pressure here, we're trying to then drive with our index, because if you keep that bend to the bar, you have that lat tightness. Even if you just do this wherever you are, if you go and press up, by keeping that bend the bar tension, that lat active, you're kind of inhibiting your pec from doing its job. And you can feel that. If you stay retracted with your shoulders and you keep that bend to the bar, there's not much pec activation there.
Right? Oh, yeah. It's like you almost can't press it back up. Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to get the pec involved as well. So you need some slight protraction of the shoulders. You can't pin it there in retraction the entire time. You want a little bit of protraction with the shoulders, still anchored to depression. But then you want to reverse that action where you're not completely bending that bar. You're then driving with your index a little bit more.
So I saw that you posted that it's tough to train heavy benches in a commercial gym, which is funny because the next video we're going to watch is Dustin in a commercial gym. I think he's benching like 506. But you said that it's tough to train it because, and I agree with you, like you don't have any control over the quality of the bench pad. You don't have any control over the quality of the bar. You don't even know if there's going to be chalk there. And something else I didn't think about, this I complain about all the time. You don't even know if they're going to be collars that will keep the plates on the bar, depending on what kind of gym you go to. Sometimes they get those spring collars on there, and they're just there for moral support because they don't actually hold. You can slide them like this, no problem, right? Yeah. And I know guys who like take collars with them to the gym. I mean, you and I probably both know powerlifters who take bars. They keep a bar at the gym where they train, right? But if you train at home, there are other challenges. So when you're coaching lifters who train at home by themselves, one thing is confidence. If you don't believe you can bench that weight, you'll never bench it if you don't believe you can do it. So talk about some of the things that you've got to coach your lifters with who train at home, especially if they train by themselves.
Yes, in terms of like the mental side of things.
The mental side, and then also like I'm a fan. I like monolift attachments, but
oh sure, yep.
If I'm getting ready for a meet at a certain point, I have to get my wife to hand off or something like that. I have to stop using the monolift because I'm not going to have a monolift.
Yeah,
we're not going to be benching on that. But yeah, so any tools and also the mental side.
Yeah. So in terms of when I say it's tough to train bench in a commercial gym or a home gym setup, depending what you have, that has no bearing on like the weight you could potentially lift, because you could get really strong doing either of those things. But in terms of how it pertains to powerlifting, you're getting so far removed from the specialty equipment you get at a powerlifting meet that it's hard to have those little nuances in technique. When you can't really control the rack height, or the bench doesn't have as good a grip, or it doesn't have the same level of cushion. All these little things matter a ton. In fact, my bench currently here, it's a firmer pad, and the bench that I'll use at the place I train is more cushioned pad. I will lose 40 pounds quite quickly trying to bench off this, but I just know that I'm going to experience that loss of strength.
Okay.
So even the pads used at the meets I compete at, so with the USAPL, within the last couple of years, I felt like there was a significant change in the cushion of the pad. Nothing in terms of the dimension, just the cushion itself. And I went and did one of the Arnold meets, and I was like, wow, I'm going to have a day, because the cushion was just so much, it's cushioned more, the pad.
Right.
And it makes that dramatic of a difference when you get into the little nuances of it.
Right.
In fact, there was one meet too, and I'll get back to the point there, but there was a state meet that was in the back room, and it was on like a concrete floor. It was not the greatest bench setup. The platform was fine. It had a rug, it had a good bench, but the warm-up room was so bad. And I was going to go and open. It was like 5:35 that day, and I was pretty much failing 440 in the back room. Did not have enough traction.
Yeah.
It was
your feet. I got you, because of the floor was slick. I got you.
I was trying to wrap bands around my feet to make it work, but all these little things, that's what adds up. That sometimes in a commercial gym you can't control the rack height, the footing is slippery even if you have good shoes. So those are the things that we're talking about when it comes to being tough, but you can certainly get stronger. So yeah, when it comes to the mentality side of things, that's so huge. I feel like people do not focus on that enough. There's so many ways to get strong. Like, your programming matters, your technique matters, but how you approach, how you hold your state of mind is just as important as anything. And people don't really train that. And there's some things that I do in terms of like visualization. I keep an album on my phone. I call it Feel Good album. And I'll take screenshots of just positive messages, or whether that's you just put all your best lifts in there that make you, feel confident, elicit some kind of emotional response. Put that all in a certain album. And then, like, before a meet too, just sit down and look at all those great lifts you hit over the training cycle. So it doesn't matter if your last bench was not a great bench. You have all this previous footage that you can look at that, wow, I did some incredible numbers, So that's huge. The mental side of things coming into the gym. If you don't have it mentally, if you think a warm up slow, then you're already taking yourself out from having a good top set. Because how many times, I'm sure you've been through it too, John, where you're doing a warm up and you're like, I'm feeling kind of slow. It's kind of heavy. But you go and you hit a PR anyway.
Because it's like so sometimes I've caught myself doing this where I don't realize I'm not putting enough velocity into the bar. Because it's light, right? And so I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just doing it. But then when the weight gets heavy, now I'm locked in, and because again, I train by myself, unless, like, as I said, my wife comes in to like spot me or hand or lift off for me or something like that. So I can definitely say that's happened to me. So
powerful thing I could tell people is treat your 50% like it's 100%. That's the biggest thing that you can do, because you don't need 100% effort to lift 50% weight.
Right.
That's where it's tricky. You could get away with sandbagging like a 60% effort to 50% weight. So rarely are you trying to exude that 100% effort. And that's why I love equipped lifting too, just because you don't have a choice. Like, it's always very heavy. You always need to bring everything to it. But for a raw lifter, unless you're doing like heavy hold, slingshot work, rarely are you going to 100%. So trying to bring that level of effort in what you're doing, If you can push back harder with your leg drive, you can retract harder with your upper back. If you can apply more tension to the barbell, there's always room to do that more intently, in my opinion.
All right, let's go ahead and let's jump into Dustin's bench video. Only got this one, and then we got one more from Harry. That's not it. There it is. Okay. All right, so here we go. So this is Dustin.
Is this the commercial gym setup? This is nice.
Oh, yeah. Now, I said it's commercial gym, but it's still a legit gym.
This is a good setup.
So this is 506, like the space shuttle. Let's squeeze that lock out. Okay. So you want to see that again, or what do you say about that?
Again. No, that's solid bench. That's a good brute force, heavily muscled guy here, Dustin.
Oh yeah.
Shoes, I go right to the boots. I would take the boots off for sure. I'm sure they give you good traction, but again, it's unless you need that extra height to reach the floor, which I'm not sure if you do. I don't know if you have tight hips or whatnot, but that's something that I would potentially get away from, just because it does leave you the potential again to want to lift up. The grip, I would try out the grip that I was just talking about earlier in the show here, because I see you have that kind of death grip, which usually leads you to trying to command more through the arms.
Okay.
Versus being able to wedge with your back and keep your back what you're primarily loading into. So I would say that about the grip. And then a lot's probably just going to come down to the setup process, just optimizing that. Can you use any type of leverage to get your scaps pinched in more? Can you use the barbell in that process to help set your lats? That's a big thing. If you do that, the bridge off the bench that
he does have tight hips.
Yeah, so then maybe the boots are good for you, my friend.
Be a good actually, there's a drill. So we'll show this now, and I'll let you talk through it a little bit as we do this.
Yeah, you're gonna pull up. Yeah, that's good.
Oh heck yeah! That's the only reason I'm even here. I'm just here to facilitate. I'm running your PowerPoint for this meeting.
This one is fantastic. I highly encourage you guys.
That looks unpleasant.
Yeah. So the big thing when you're going to have your feet flat and you're trying to get your feet out to keep your hips down and apply that leg drive through the hips, what you really need is a lot of internal rotation. If you think about like the position I get in a bench with really wide feet, I used to deal with a ton of hip cramps. Inopportune times too. It's like third attempt at the meet, your hip starts cramping on you. And I've never had a hip cramp since utilizing this. This is just an internal rotation mobility drill. So the band's helping me further facilitate internal rotation. And then I am actually driving down against the band just to strengthen the position as well. But this has been a game changer. But you have to know where your hips are tight. So some people get tight in the side of their hips. This is great for that. If you're tight in the front of your hips, then you might want to go to something like a hip flexor stretch prior to benching, or couch stretch, or I think in yoga terms, the lizard pose, something of that nature. You get into like a deep split squat position.
Got you.
Bulgarian split squat.
Okay.
Get into that type of position. So you could drive off that back toe and create force in that hip extended position.
Got you.
Hold the glute too. So a lot of things you can implement prior to benching to deal with tight hip issues.
So we talked about tools. I said I like the monolift attachments, but another tool, and I first saw this tool at Home Gym Con in French Lick, the last one before we went to Louisville, and it's a launch pad. And you said that this is one of your favorite accessory tools. So now I want to get your reaction to a comment from the video that you posted about it on Instagram. And your comment, because you posted it, you say, yeah, I love this. And, there's always like I don't think the person, they weren't being like, it wasn't like one of those videos where it's like they're disrespectful or anything like that. Yeah. Instead, they were like, they said, I don't understand why you like this product, right? And so they had some questions. First of all, this guy's name is phenomenal. Cyclonic Rabbit. I'm sorry, Cyclonic_Rabbit. That may be the most underrated Instagram handle of all time. I don't even know what that means. I just know that is phenomenal. Okay. So Cyclonic_rabbit says, I agree, because you said you like the launch pad. He said, I agree with 99.999% on things you speak of, but this one I have my reservations. Respectfully, sir. Why would one want to put more rotation on our shoulders, especially when we will never be put in that position on the platform? And he goes on to say, going lower doesn't help speed off the chest. Learning to properly engage our lats will be the most beneficial thing that new and even seasoned lifters can learn. Not only will that protect our shoulders, like if we're wearing a bench shirt or a band, it'll also generate speed off the chest. So essentially what you were saying is that you like the launch pad because it allows you more range of motion. So you could go lower, and you said that you love how your bench started to perform. But he's like, well, I don't understand why you even like this product. Hang on, let me see. And in fact, I'll pull this up so that as you're explaining it, we'll have like a visual aid for the launch pad, even though most people probably have seen it. All right. So what's your answer to, and there's Cyclonic Rabbit right here. All right. So go ahead.
Yeah. So Cyclonic Rabbit and myself, we've been following each other for many, many years now. I remember engaged with me for many years now.
Okay.
Very strong bencher. So I think this is just one of those matters where context matters. And I don't think the full context is really shown in this video. I did this video to showcase this product and how I like to use it for launch pads. They sent this over to me, which was really awesome to try out. And how I like to use it, I would never use it for powerlifting purposes. And I think that's where it gets misconstrued a little bit. Because I have 100% agreement with, say, Rabbit. I'm in 100% agreement with that. So I would never use it for powerlifting specific training. But I think it's a fantastic tool, especially if you like dumbbell work. I'll use it for dumbbell work. I feel like I can get because you're trying to get a longer range of motion.
Right.
And this just helps facilitate it, because oftentimes what's the limiter is just the pad itself. It's like, you can't get any lower, and then you're having to internally rotate. So you can see with dumbbells here, allows you to get really comfortably low, get a great stretch on the pecs. And then I show it with the barbell too. You could do it with the barbell, but it's typically going to be lighter work. It's going to be more accessory work to train your chest. If you're into just general development, just bodybuilding style training, I think this is a fantastic tool. But no, I wouldn't be trying to do my main powerlifting on it for sure.
I'll say one thing. So I started using the ROM pad from AbMat. And one thing that I know, so my last injury, hopefully it's my last injury ever in life, but we never know. But anyway, my last injury at a meet was I was benching and I strained my pec. And because I had been getting progressively tighter and tighter. And so I wasn't doing mobility work. And then because it never occurred to me to do it. And also because I kept hearing lifters like Dan Green, no shade of Dan Green. I think he's a great lifter, awesome lifter. But they were saying things like, oh, you need to be a little tight if you want to be successful. So I'm like, okay, these aches and pains are normal. Well, then I go to bench and I hear pop, 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 pop. It literally sounded like somebody popping their knuckles. And it was my pecs. I was like, oh, and that's all she wrote for that day. I end up in the ER. And so then fast forward to now, I don't have the pec issues because I use stuff like this to train my tendons and ligaments through a range of motion that's greater than I need for the bench. So when I go bench, that's not my end range. You know, when I'm doing powerlifting style bench, that's not my end range. I can go further than that, and I'm strong further than that, right? So that is something else that I do like about products like that.
Yeah, you nailed it, John. I mean, it's important. Powerlifting is not an extreme range of motion sport, but you have to be able to explore that range of motion comfortably and be strong through it, and not just limit yourself to like where depth at a squat or just off the chest on bench. You want to be able to be strong through a further range of motion for sure. If anything, for injury prevention.
Heck yeah.
Can't get stronger if you're not in the gym, right?
Heck yeah. So Dustin said my current coach Ashley, who's actually in the chat as well. Shout out to Ashley. We call her 332. My current coach Ashley is constantly trying to get me to work on external and internal rotation, as well as getting into yoga for both hips and shoulders. And then Isaac said, legit question though, I use the lifters because I lift IPF, so the whole foot needs to touch the ground. For those who don't know, in the IPF, you got to be flat-footed. They don't let you bench with your heels up. He said, and with flats, I can't use my leg drive as well through the heel, and it tends to no lift. So what do you say to that?
Yeah, so that might not be a big a deal for you there. Isaac, is that?
Isaac.
Isaac, okay.
I'll tell you something. When I interviewed him, I actually spelled his name Eezak, just so I would say it right. And now it's just second nature.
Yeah. So Isaac, then that might not be as big a deal for you, because what I did notice from your videos too is you're using a lot of quad drive. So his style of leg drive is not really hip dominant. It's more his feet are a little bit closer to the pad. He's using his quads to extend away. So that's where heels could benefit you a little bit more if you're using that style.
Okay.
But for the vast majority, they're trying to, if they're benching through their hips, using leg drive like how I typically coach it. Heels, just not something that I would utilize.
Gotcha. All right, so we're at the 9 o'clock hour. So shout out to the West Coast. You guys just woke up, and thank you if you have tuned in for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. And we are talking to Ben, Coach Ben from Big Benchas. And Ben has coached over 500 powerlifting, champions, I say, because if you get on the platform, to me, you're a champion, first of all. But he's coached over 500 powerlifters to hit PRs and stay healthy and injury-free while getting stronger. So he has been going through different videos where people have submitted, doing form checks, and just giving out some really, really good information about accessories and stuff. We are getting ready to wrap this up, but we do have time for, I hope, for one more video that was submitted by my guy Harrison from Home Gym Harry. And then that'll be the last one. We can go ahead and wrap things up here. So Harry, all right, there we go here. All right, so let me share this. All right, so Harry also does not compete. And let's go back here. So we'll start from here. Can you see?
Cool setup here, yeah.
Oh yeah, I told you, man. These guys, I'm like, what do you call it? I'm the JV in terms of garage gym setup. They got the lights and all kinds of other stuff. I'm just like, wow, I'm not there yet. All right, so let's go ahead and start. So Harry does not compete. He competes with himself, but he does use more of a powerlifting style bench. And he's also a taller guy as well.
Okay. So even though not necessarily getting ready for powerlifting meet or anything, I still encourage working with pauses. Because you'll see here as you're going through there, Harry, if it is like that first rep, pretty solid groove. And then that second one, see how you get left out in front a little bit longer there. So that's usually due to the scaps coming out of that depressed position slightly, or touch and go, just being a little bit unexact with where you want to apply that force. So that's the thing. You have a great arch here. Typically, you always want to be reinforced and press back. Weight under the bar, press away from the bar. That's going to be key for you, because you get left out a little bit in front, especially with a good arch like that you can't overcome that position.
Okay.
So, otherwise, this is a really solid bench. I would look to try to get more of the leg drive into your setup process. I just feel like there's more to capitalize on there to how you're driving back. Like you can see it there. See that emphasis, that leg drive? We want to see more of that during the setup process. And that should help out a lot too. And I have some videos on wrist wrap, and we didn't really touch on that much, but how you
talk about it now if you want to.
Yeah. So I usually have my demo wrap with me, but important thing that I feel like a lot of people miss out on with the wraps is capturing the back of the hand enough. You know, how you start that wrap. Most people are ending up a little bit low, or they're wrapping the same spot. And I also always recommend using 36-inch wraps. You just get more support overall. So for anyone listening, 36-inch wraps, make sure if you're using the thumb loop that tail end points up towards your fingers, and then you'll get a little bit more of that back of the hand. Yeah, so this is a bit of more extreme example. So obviously you got to make sure it fits the restrictions of whatever federation you're lifting
Right.
it. But this will show you how you want to layer down, you want to capture the back of the hand, you want to leave the palm exposed. Those are the real important things.
Yeah, so when anybody watches my videos when I'm benching, I always do like this thing like where I'm like this, because I'm testing to make sure that the wrist wrap is stopping my hand from rotating back. And I don't even know how I know I saw somebody do it, because I mean that's how we do anything, right? We see somebody do it and it seems like a good idea, we try it. But that's the thing I see with a lot of people who don't compete in powerlifting, who are just like, and they train in a home gym by themselves. They tend to wrap their wrists so that their hand can just do all like that, because they actually wrap their wrist. They don't wrap their palm to like use they don't turn it into a cast, if that makes sense.
You're trying to cast down the joint. That's the whole purpose. Yep.
Yep. So let's see here. Hey, Sean, what's up, man? I appreciate you checking in, man. Happy New Year. And he said he'll catch this again on the replay. Hey, shout out to the replay gang as always, my man. Appreciate you being here. All right, so let me stop sharing that. Man, you've said a lot. You've given us a lot of good tools and stuff. And as we're wrapping up, there is something that I do want to talk about. There's actually there's two more things. All right, we're going to skip some of the other stuff I sent you, but these things I feel like kind of important. Mm-hmm. So we've heard a lot of cues from you today, and whenever somebody starts to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to improve my bench, right? Especially if they've got a lot to work on, there's a ton of cues, right? Yeah, pack your lats, wedge under the bar, set your feet, keep your feet flat, go up on your toes, bend the bar, spread the bar, maintain. There's a lot, right? Yeah. And you got to do that all at once. How it can be overwhelming. How many cues do you typically ask your lifters, given that you do 4-week cycles? How many cues do you work on with your lifters at a time?
Yes. So the paralysis by analysis is real. People experience that quite often. What I try to do within our team as a coach and our coaching staff, what I train them to do is keep things simple. Keep things simple and allow time for the athlete to actually progress on it. So we talk quite often in our coaches meetings just about not overcueing, not overcoaching the lift. Let them actually get good at what we ask them to get good at, because that's the only way, especially online, where things just take a little bit more time to develop versus in person. The nice thing there is that you can actually feel certain positions and pick up on it a bit quicker. Doesn't mean that online coaching isn't as effective, because you could get to that same result. Just takes a little bit longer and a little bit more detail there. But in coaching it, that's key. We usually go through a 16-week process. So I've really broken down the lifts into something I want them to focus on each week through 16 weeks. Now, that being said, some concepts are going to take longer than others. So you may be working on the setup a bit longer, because maybe that's completely new to you and it feels foreign. And maybe you're getting the setup down, but now when we start working on the unrack process and what goes into that, you don't really feel that setup taking effect, because we're losing it. We're not bridging the gap into a strong press because the unrack's taking us out of position. So everyone's a little bit different in how quick they pick up on things, but we always try to coach things real simple, give a cue at a time, don't overhaul everything at once. And then a lot of things too, we've taken a look at a lot of videos here. There's a lot that you're not going to see in a video that someone may not be doing until you touch on it. So through our coaching process, a big thing that I teach our team on is ask questions. Ask questions. How did this feel? What are you doing for back tightness? What's your thought process here? Just try to draw as much information out of someone as you can through check-in forms, through asking questions, you name it, having them, message you a response to something. Just try to get as much information as you can that's not showing up on video, because I wouldn't really see how someone's trying to apply bend to the bar on a video. The bar not going to bend.
Yeah.
So a lot of the big corrections that I do with athletes comes via them telling me something. And I'm like, oh, we actually have to think of it a lot differently versus actually just being able to pick it out of a video,
Got you. So we are on LinkedIn. And so because LinkedIn is essentially a business, a B2B platform, I wanted to make sure that we talked about this. You mentioned that they sent you out the Launchpad. So that tells me that because you do coach a fair amount of people in person, you probably are open to brands sending you products, sending you stuff to try out, beta test. I think that one of the biggest problems in terms of gym equipment now is they tend to test it with not enough load. And so as a result, you give it to somebody who's a little bit stronger, and now they're breaking it. And maybe that could have been avoided if you just tested it with somebody who, I mean, not to be mean, but if I see somebody do a bench video and they're testing a bench and they got 135 pounds, shout out to them, appreciate, what you're doing, but that doesn't tell me anything. If I see somebody show a barbell and they're deadlifting with it and they don't put significant amounts of weight on it, like you got to put enough weight on the bar so that I can see what the whip does. Right. And so that's going to help me judge whether this bar is right for me or not. And so I think I at every chance I get, I like to say, let's get equipment in the hands of strong people to test it, because that benefits everybody. There's a cascade down effect. So if a brand watching said, hey, you know what, I'd love to send this or that thing that we create out to Big Benchas so that their team can check it out, how are you open to that? And what's your process for that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of companies send things over my way, and if it's something that I utilize quite often and find a lot of value in, I'll definitely get behind it. Like the Launchpad's great accessory tool. That's something I use regularly with my dumbbell work. Gripzilla recently sent me over some tools there, which I'm excited to try out more. But I believe forearm training is very important for the bench press. So yeah, I'm totally open to that. In terms of bars, I'll tell you, it's mostly me in here, and I'm usually not going too heavy in this spot. So I'll usually take bars over to where I train, and we got some strong people that can run that through the ringer. So we could certainly put things to test. Like Dr. Pete sent me over his Commander bar, which is a really cool tool. Nice. And he wanted me to get some significant load on that, but that's just not one of those bars that I'm going to go and equip lift 700 pounds with.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I hear what you're saying. I'm always down to test things out and give my review and opinion on and how things can be improved and whatnot, for sure.
So how would they contact you? With your email?
Oh, yeah. Email's good. I always
so
my email, Ben@bigbenchas.com. Yep. And then you can always reach out to me on Instagram too.
Okay. And that's at Big Benchas on Instagram. So we got one more comment.
Plugins there, my friend.
Hey, man.
Little icons.
Hey, okay. It looks like, so Carp sent one. Hang on, Carp. Do you have time for one more technique?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right, so Carp said he sent one in, and I'm looking for yours, man. You know what? Maybe it's because we got you in the wrong. Okay, let's see there. Oh, there. Okay, I see it. So he actually sent two. So
I should mention too, like part of my content process, I'll go through and give some reviews on videos too. So if anyone ever wants to submit something to me, that's totally cool.
Oh, heck yeah. To be honest with you, that's actually one of the reasons why I started paying attention to you, because I saw you doing that. And I'll just say this as a side note. I decided I wanted to interview you 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I need to get this guy on the show. But I don't like to just reach out to people right away. I want to spend some time kind of like seeing what you're about before I reach out.
Sure.
Because it's got to be a good fit, Yeah. All right. So this is Carp right here. So he's benching by himself. So Carp competes in strongman, but also does some, there's a garage gym competition. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Yeah. And he does that as well. So there's that one. Let's do that again.
Sweet setups, man. I'm getting these
videos. Well, hey, look, you have something that he has, the Masonomic banners. All right, so there we go. So this is him. So Carp is about 6'1", 6'2", I'd say. Yeah. Just based upon his height compared to me.
So the main thing that stands out, and there's some areas of opportunity for sure, the unrack process. I feel like potentially, depending on the hole spacing of this rack, could maybe go up one, but I feel like there's a lot to dive into in terms of truly wedging against the pad and using your back. I feel through the unrack process, you're getting loaded into the shoulders a little bit too much, my friend. And what I'd like to see is you actually implement that 5-second hold and then focus on squeezing your back as hard as possible. And my cue for this is pretend there's bubble wrap underneath your shoulder blades. All right, you're trying to pop that bubble wrap. So you hear the or yeah, I mean, that's the biggest one there. And then there's also another cue that I really like that I'll just mention here for everyone listening too. I do the scale under the butt cue. So the idea with leg drive is that you don't want to bear a lot of weight through your butt on the pad. You actually want the main points of contact to be your feet and then the neck area. That's the only points of contact when you're benching. So pretend you had a scale slid underneath your butt and you want to touch the scale, but you want it to read 0.
Gotcha.
That's a great leg drive concept that connects with a lot of people. But for you, my friend, I would really focus in on that hold after you take the bar out and then the whole bubble wrap idea. And then you're trying to maintain that as you press too. I feel like there's more to capitalize on with that.
Awesome. All right. So we kind of already, all right. So there you go, Carp. I'm glad. And thank you for reminding me that you sent one because I completely forgot. So I apologize. And thank you for reminding me. So we've mentioned this a couple of times, but I want to make sure that we give your information so people know how to get in touch with you so they can DM you stuff if they want you to, or I guess tag you in videos or whatever. But so go ahead and say what you're going to say, and then let's talk about how to contact you.
Yeah. I wanted to give a couple drills that could help out too for Carp. I love heavy holds. Heavy holds is a great way to really force you in to get into a good deep retraction. And then it forces you into that. That's just going to happen. And then bamboo bar work. And I'm actually going to film a video on this recently.
I was going to ask you if you like earthquake bars and bamboo bars.
So I don't as like a strength builder. I love it as a tool to get lifters to approach form in a certain way, and that being anchoring into that depression. So that's a great tool. If you load that thing up so it's rattling all around and you take it out and you load up and you press. The key is on the press. What I'll have my lifters do is press explosive. So you get that thing rattling around and then kind of go to an open palm, not to where you're worried it's going to slide out of your hands, but just open the palm a little bit. So you take away that tension you're creating through the arms. And then that's going to teach you to anchor into that scap depression. Because if you can stop that barbell from moving around right away and just create a shelf for it to be on, that's going to do wonders for your press overall.
All right. And I agreed. So Dustin said it is phenomenal for stabilizers. So we already talked about how brands can get in touch with you, but where can people go to keep up with the latest from Big Benchas? And I want to, while you're doing that, I want people to see, it's really easy for me to say, oh yeah, contact him for coaching, right? But this is what your programs look like. Right, in terms of the options that people can get, you can go to bigbenchas.programs.app, and I'll put in that link. All these links are, especially if you're watching on a replay, all of these links are in the video description on YouTube, and I'm also putting the contact email for Ben in the video description on LinkedIn. But but I just want you guys to see all of the stuff that he offers. And don't let the fact that he coaches equipped, that he personally competes equipped, stop you from reaching out to him, because he coaches raw lifters as well. All right. So Ben, go ahead, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you and how they can reach out if they want a little bit more in-depth help than just what we were able to do here today.
Yeah. So all you have to do, shoot me a message. I like to take the time and really understand anyone's goals. That's very important to have the context of what your goals are. We actually have just as many coaching options now as we ever have. So just depending on what your budget is to invest in coaching, you can see here, this is our foundations tier. So very affordable to get some really quality programming. So just depending on what you're looking for, if you want more in-depth one-on-one attention, regular feedback, really deep dive into the programming, join our team community, just have a discussion with me. We could talk about what your goals are, and I'm sure we can help you achieve whatever you're looking to do. I've been working with lifters since 2016. Like John said, there's probably well more than 500 lifters that I've worked with over the years for sure. And, that's our bread and butter, the bench press, but we also teach squat and deadlift with just as much attention as well. I've certainly put in my time with full power. And if you are an equipped lifter, there's no better place to get some help, because I have a lot to share with you. But raw as well. Majority of our team is raw, but I would love to have you on our team, be a part of what we're doing for sure.
All right, so you guys go ahead, follow at Big Benchas on Instagram. You can send him DMs like that. You can tag him in your videos by tagging at Big Benchas on Instagram. You can email coachben@bigbenchas.com. And then if you want to get this link, also make sure you subscribe, Big Benchas on YouTube. And then of course you can check out the programs, this thing that you're seeing right there. This is what you call your foundations. That's bigbenchas.programs.app.
Yep.
All right, dude, this was awesome. I really appreciate you being here, spending, we actually went over the time, and I kind of warned you in the thing. I said, look, we're probably not going to do all these questions, but I just like to have, I don't want to, the worst nightmare would be to come to a interview and be like, yeah, so I don't know, how about the Braves? I don't know, like you run out of stuff to ask or talk about. But this was great, man. I enjoyed the conversation.
That could never happen with me. We'll have to talk of football or something at some point.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all.
Really appreciate the opportunity, John. Thank you so much for inviting me on. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm jealous after seeing many of your subscribers' home gyms there. Now I feel like I gotta set this place up even more.
Well, hold on now. Let's we might need to get where are you located?
I'm in Long Island, New York.
Long Island, okay. Strong Island, I got you.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we might need to work out a gym tour, because I would, I mean, I love gym candy as much as the next person, to quote Jim Wendler. But I like, when I talk about how to put together a home gym to support your goals on the platform, that's a little different than just, okay, I want somewhere to work out. So like my home gym has to support my wife's goals to be a competitive triathlete and my goals to compete in powerlifting, when I have time. So our setup is a little bit, going in two different directions. I think the only things we have in common are the treadmill and the single stack cable tower. But I always like to see setups that are designed for athletic performance development. So yeah, we might need to work out a gym tour of your spot, man.
Got a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's all you need.
Got the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro in here.
Okay. Yeah.
We're getting renovations done on the house, so this has been kind of my gym / office / thing for me.
Hey, I understand. I'll tell you, the most phenomenal thing in that gym is that the chalkboard showing the leaderboard, showing what your lifters have done.
Yeah, right there.
That right there is the most awesome thing in there, because it's not just, oh, look at what I have. It's look at what my clients have done. And that's why I think it's awesome that you see that in there. If you got a coach and he doesn't have a board like that, you probably don't have the right coach, because results are important when you're spending your hard-earned money on somebody.
Yes.
Dude, you got to come back on the show, man. This was awesome. I definitely got to get you back on here.
Yeah, you know what I'll say to that there, John, is celebrate your wins, big or small. That's something we promote within our team. That's so huge. It doesn't matter if you, like, a lot of people feel shy to, like, they hit a 200-pound bench milestone. Like, what's that matter when you have people benching 400, 500? Well, it matters a ton, because the effort that
it's your milestone. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you feel like you got better with form, like, celebrate that. Right?
Yeah.
Like, celebrate the wins. That's what's going to keep you in the sport and have that longevity. It's not just about weight on the bar, but it's about the process. It's about you upgrading your habits, you name it. So
yeah,
big.
100%, man. I appreciate you. And like I said, I appreciate you stopping by, man. And we got to have you back again. All right.
Absolutely. I appreciate it very much, Sean. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. All right, so that was Coach Ben from Big Benchas, and I just want to remind y'all that he said I said his name correctly, Nick Benarakis. All right. Now, as we close up, I've started to do a thing where I tell you guys what I learned this week, and this week I was reminded of the power of consistency. So you guys saw the notifications I received from YouTube saying I'd been on for, my channel has been around for 8 years. You saw the thing from vidIQ. We've hit, well, it's over this now, but 11 million views. And you saw where I mentioned where Nick and I were talking about how much he's been able to grow just by staying the course. So I want to tell you guys that honestly, I'm 8 years into the YouTube journey. We would be further along if I hadn't spent time trying to build multiple social platforms at once. So remember, I told you guys in the beginning that I drop little nuggets to y'all, but people kind of like ignore them or they go over their head. This is one. I made a mistake of trying to build a following on multiple social platforms at once, right? But so that was a mistake, but I'm also grateful for the lessons I learned in trying to grow on Instagram and YouTube, and those dark moments when I created TikToks as an adult male. We should hit the 75,000 subscriber mark at some point. I mean, we actually should hit it at some point today if everything goes well. But we wouldn't be, we're like less than 500 away from it. But we wouldn't be there if not for the lessons I learned by making mistakes over and over the past 8 years. Something else that I want to say that I learned this week is something that I said last week. This is another nugget. I said product reviews, or actually I posted a video, right? But I said product reviews cannot be the only thing that you do on your channel if you want to thrive on YouTube. I didn't say you can't grow. You're always going to have a certain segment of the population that enjoys watching product reviews, right? And in fact, we've talked about it, how like there's some people who will only watch small channels. Then as soon as you start to grow past a certain point, they stop watching you. So you lose those subscribers, right? But if you want to just get 1,000 subscribers, 2,000, 3,000, product reviews will do it. But if you want to thrive, you can't just hang your hat on just that. And I'm going to tell you that part of the confirmation I got was not only people commenting from the viewer consumer side, where they were like, because I made a post, it was a YouTube short, and they were saying, I'm sick and tired of watching this stuff over and over. There's only so many times I can watch six videos about the same bench from 6 different people. But also I saw ads, and I started paying attention to the ads out there for AI, right? Because of some of these services, these AI services, brands are now able to use AI to generate fake user-generated content for their products at a fraction of the cost. So if you were making money from UGC, where brands were paying you for UGC, you might find your income, and that's part of your income, you might find your income impacted by the fact that they can now use AI for that. So that means I'm not telling you to stop doing it. I'm just saying you need to diversify. The top performers will always get contracts to do product reviews. Everybody else, you better diversify your content. All right? I get nothing out of you listening to me. I don't make a dime because you say, you know what, I'm going to do what he says. In fact, technically, I'm empowering you to, if I looked at you guys as like competing with me instead of both of us providing a valuable service to our community, I might be like, no, I don't want to tell them that. Like so many people did to me. They wouldn't tell me the stuff that I'm telling you. I had to learn the hard way, which is how I ended up making some of the mistakes I made. I still remember when people try to terrify me about Google ads. Oh, you don't want to do that because that's going to kill your channel. All right. Well, I started doing Google ads, and now we're picking up subscribers just like that. Okay. You got to do it smart. but it was a mistake. I've been stifling my growth, right? So anyway, I'm just saying, diversify your content because I want to see all you guys succeed. And I know this is Quitter's Day, but don't quit. I want to see you guys back here next week, still going at it, still chasing your goals, because you set those goals for a reason. Remember why you set those goals in the beginning. That's a good point. Dustin said those mistakes led you to here, where the mistakes are just lessons learned. I can say that they were lessons learned. Technically, I don't feel like I ever lose. I either win or I learn, right? That's a kind of a paraphrase from a quote by the great Mario Sperry. He said when a loser wins, he gets lazy with his mistakes. When a champion loses, when a champion wins, when a champion loses, he learns because of his mistakes. He learns with his mistakes. When a loser wins, he gets lazy in the comfort zone. Say it again. When a champion loses, he learns with his mistakes. When a loser wins, he gets lazy in the comfort zone. I'm not a loser, so I feel like I either win or I learn. That's just all there is to it. All right, so coming up next week, that's it for today's show. Coming up next week, we are going to have Joe Ellis from Chisel Fit and Jason Benoit from Exponent Edge. So Chisel Fit makes the what they call the most advanced rower, as in rowing machine, ever on the planet. So this is just kind of give you guys a little bit of a teaser. This is the Chisel Fit rower. Cut that off right there because you ain't about to mess up my what you call it. See if I can I'm trying to see if I can show you guys a video where it doesn't show it. But anyway, so basically you got fan resistance, you also have elastic power resistance, and you have back here plate loaded resistance. All right. So Joe reached out to me a while back and said he wanted to come on the show. And you see, like right there, you see that you can do strength exercises in the back. I mean, there's tons of stuff you can do with this rower. So if this is the thing that you are interested in, even if you're not sure you want to buy it, you're just interested in learning more about it, you definitely want to be here next week as Joe from Chisel Fit is going to be with us. And then we're also going to have Jason Benoit from Exponent Edge. So I know that's going to be a good one. It's going to be in demand because Jason is going to unpack what's going on with Exponent Edge and Freak Athlete. He made a post on Instagram that some of you saw where he kind of mentioned that the partnership between Exponent Edge and Freak Athlete was no more, that it had been dissolved. And I don't want to comment a ton. I have some information about it, partially because we've had Jason and I have had a steady, consistent dialogue about the topic. I haven't given him advice because, I don't have any advice to give, but I have listened to what he's saying. And so I have a little bit of information, but I want you guys to hear directly from Jason because there's so much speculation and a little bit of confusion about what this actually means. And so he's going to be on here next week to talk about what it means, what this means for the products, what it means for Freak Athlete, all that. And so he's going to be here to talk about that. So I'm getting the facts as always. I try to get the facts directly from the source. I also have an open invitation to Benji and Yogi from Freak Athlete to come on. I'm going to say that again. They got an open invite to come on here. Not next week. We're booked up, but all you got, Benji, Yogi, all you got, shoot me an email. We can, you guys got my email. Just shoot me an email and we'll get you on the show so you can talk about your brand and what you have going forward. Okay. But in any case, thank you to my guest, Nick Benarakis, for joining us and sharing his knowledge. Thanks to also you guys for watching and interacting in the live chat, making this show successful. I appreciate everything you guys do, all the support you give me. And so I'll see y'all next week. Until then, keep stacking days.